What's up, guys? Welcome back to our second day. Of course, this being the day for the Northern region to show us what they've got right here on the International Africa Gaming Cup. And of course, this is in partnership with the Republic of Benin and Knights Cactus, who are joining forces to offer multi-territory gaming tournaments to esports players from all over Africa. Now, what's going to be exciting about today's matches as well, just as we had over on the Western region, is that three of the teams, the top three teams, will be qualifying straight into the continental finals, with the first place team here today walking away with $500. Second place, of course, walking away with $300, and then that first place being awarded an additional $200 as well. So a beautiful amount of prize money up for grabs for these teams as they look to showcase their talents and show us what they can bring out to the battlefield. Of course, as you guys can see, I'm obviously not alone. With me is Mr. Vectorman is there from Dynamic Mobile Gaming. How are you doing today?
Excellent. You know what? To be specific, I am feeling anxious about tonight, DK.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the lineup that we've got of the teams coming in as well, there is going to be a pretty tough lobby for these teams to participate in. I mean, we've got the likes of Code 12, we've got the players there from Virtual Gaming in as well. We have the players there from RTG, we've got Darkness, we've got the AKM team, and several others as well. We've got CRYPTICS in the mix, we've got the Arab Golden team. We've got the Hunters, we've got SWAT, Code 12, as well as then RTG. So it is going to be a relatively tight lobby to see what these teams are going to be bringing out on towards the battlefield. And as we know, of course, they are going to be playing it across our 4 maps that we have lined up for the teams. And of course, speaking about that, let's have a quick look at it. We're going to be starting over on towards Erangel. After that, transitioning into a little bit of that Murmar Sanok action. Not before closing it off with the final bit of your wrangle action for the very last match of the day.
Yes, ending off with a bang as usual. So starting off with the angle, it's going to be a fun one because, especially for me, I mean, looking at that anxiety where it's coming from, it's because it's a completely new list of teams that you've just mentioned there. I've seen the names, I've seen them on the leaderboards. However, after tonight, I don't know if anybody's out there that's in the same boat as I am. We'll not only get to see the top 3 players from this region, but also exactly what the style of play that they bring coming from the northern side of Africa. So I'm anxious, but even more excited tonight, TK.
Yeah, and I mean, like, we've already had a pretty impressive performance coming through from the Western region, with the teams really stepping up, bringing in some very satisfying performances. So I'm quite curious to see how these teams are going to be faring, stepping out onto the field. As we know, they've already showcased a lot of their talent coming through in the PMCO as well as the PMPL Africa. So there's a lot of interesting dynamics that can come from these teams. So I'm curious to see how they're going to fare once they meet up, and especially I'm going to be looking towards the players there from CRYPTICS. As we know, they are an exceptionally strong team. The same, of course, can be said for the players there of LUSAIL as well. So there's a lot to look forward to. But then, of course, right, we got the Code 12 Devils, we've got RTG, we've got Virtual Gaming, as well as just straight up Code 12. So a lot of teams here that have shown their potential in some of the previous events that we've actually seen them participate in. So I do think that there's going to be a pretty tough game ahead for a lot of these teams, at least in today's matches.
Indeed, indeed. Like I said, I've heard these names before so many times. And I really want to see what they are going to do tonight, what they're going to bring. Because, I mean, last night I was familiar with a few teams there, with especially we're looking at YT and Slamfork 80, and we know what they bring to the game. And just to see the decisions that these guys are going to make compared to last night, because they are going to meet up in the finals, it's going to be very interesting.
Yep, it's going to be super, super interesting. Of course, now we are just waiting for that lobby to get underway. We're just waiting for everyone to be in their positions and get ready to kick off this, this crazy day. So we're just waiting to see what, what actually is happening. So we can get a bit of an idea as to what the estimate is and when we're going to be going live with the stream. But for now, it does seem like we've got a good amount of participants also in those lobbies. We're sitting currently on about 59 players. And with that, it does seem like one of the teams are not in this lobby just yet. So that could maybe have been why there has been a slight bit of a delay, at least with the start of this match. but we'll get into the action momentarily. So this is where we're in for a bit of an exciting day, right? As we've said already, the teams are going to be stepping up. I'm definitely going to be looking out to see the performances coming through from the teams that we've been seeing representing themselves in the PMPL MEA Championship, as well as over in towards the PMCO Africa, the very recent one that we had. But it does seem like we are getting one or two players just hopping in quickly. Maybe that could be the final player that we've been waiting for before they hit that start button. So I'd love to hear what the viewers are thinking, what they are anticipating. Who do they think are going to be the teams to walk away with the victories on our very first map, which of course is going to be over on towards Erangel. Love to hear what everyone's input is on that. So be sure to hit us up in the chat. Just smack it away. Let us know who your option is and who your favorite teams are, the ones that you're going to be rooting for. Love to hear what your inputs on that would be. But of course, Vector, we are just going to be waiting now to see what will happen here and how long it is going to take for this lobby to start. So I think while we wait for everything to get started, we are just going to be hopping into a little bit of music, right? Because we might be sitting here for 5 minutes and we're going to end up saying the same things over and over and over. So, to kind of prevent that from happening, we'll see you guys back in a short few minutes. All right, guys, we're getting ready to roll into the game. Of course, we have started the match now, and we're just waiting to see where that flight path is going to be coming on through. As said before, is going to be heading straight over on towards Erangel for a little bit of that bread and butter engagement. But it does seem like, we've got at least 60 participants currently loaded in. So I do believe with that, we're also then going to be sitting on at least 15 teams that will be participating. So it's going to be an exciting run to see where that flight path is going to be taking us, where that zone is also then going to be forming. And speaking of which, let's take a look at, what we have with regards to that setup. So as you can see, all our teams coming through here. So we've got the players there from Kurt 12 or the 46 Loot, whichever name you want to call them by. That is where they are. We then, of course, also have Virtual Gaming, as you can see. We've got the players there from Team Forces. We've got Rebel Rage. We've got Darkness. We've got the AKM team, as well as LUSAIL ESPORTS. Also then one more PUBG Mobile. We've got Arab Golden, VENOMY Esports, CRYPTICS, Super Young Leaders. Now, you do see some of the players there with X's next to their name. That's only because names weren't submitted. So, they don't know which names to
Okay.
put in. But as we have the teams participating, it's not going to be too much of a surprise on that front. So we'll be able to go through that. We also have the Hunters. We got SWAT, MOROCCO. We got Kurt 12 Devils. And of course, RTG. And on that queue, it's going to be time for the flight path now to make itself visible. As we can see, it's starting up towards the north, just alongside shooting range. And of course, heading right down to alongside the Sosnovka military island. So a very interesting flight path to start it off here.
The most interesting I've seen in a while. To start off, to kick off, it's going to be fun to see exactly what the players decide to do. I mean, what areas are they going to occupy? That's what we are asking, because are they going to go for that central area, school Pochinki, just to try and ensure that they can do a little bit of a forecast, just think where the zone is going to be. We know it's a difficult decision, or to try and get to the next zone, or at least the first zone, so you can sit comfortably when the first battle kicks in. We saw yesterday, the previous game, a lot of players finding it very difficult to get into that next zone all the time. And big ups to the teams that always try to find themselves within the central areas of the next zone. And that just made life that much easier. And those are the teams that I saw that came in the top threes all the time, So,
yeah, I mean, it's going to take a little bit of that persistency from these teams to finish in a good position with regards to those later few phases. But as we've seen from these teams, they are very capable of performing exceptionally well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they will be matching up against each other. And of course, now to start it off, we have our zone taking a beautiful position all the way over on towards that southeastern side. So being quite favored on towards that Sosnovka military island. We already see a few teams holding up in that position. So now it comes down to how they're going to look to spread themselves out to go through this looting phase. And also up on towards that northern side, nothing really out of the ordinary, right? We've got the players there from VENOMY, we've got Code 12, as well as CRYPTICS, and the players there from LUSAIL, all moving into the vicinity there and being in pretty close proximity. So I'm expecting some potential engagements to come through as these teams start making their way towards this phase.
Indeed. I mean, look at all those teams already in the next zone. They will be very chuffed with themselves, knowing that they can do battle, and if they do survive, they can either have two decisions. They can get to gatekeep the others that's going to try and get in. But as you can see, that the entire quarry there, it's empty. Emptiness going on that side, to my surprise. Or they can maybe just find themselves more in, because if we're looking at the military base, the entire island up for grabs as well. It looks like a 50-50 where the next zone might also go. But yeah, the teams in the next zone already looking good for them this far.
Yeah, definitely looking quite great there for them. And we already have a little bit of that early game engagement coming through here. The players now from Kurt 12 looking to come in hot pursuit up against one more PUBG, as we can see. Shetos now, getting the knock in, but with that Pixie comes through with a beautiful hit, also then putting them right on down. So a little bit of that early in-game engagement coming in here between Kurt 12 and the players there from one more. But now they're going to look to show us whether or not they want to bring in one more, or are they going to be satisfied with the current position they find themselves in. We've got Madlol and Muhammad now just trying to bring in a little bit of that supportive fire, looking to just bring in maybe a few of those eliminations and help alleviate a little bit of the pressure.
Nicely done by them, coming in just in time, also trying to get in on the action. I mean, they've got a knock now on Overkill. Overkill needs to get himself revived as soon as he can, because I mean, if number 3 over here, what's his name, Mad Lol, if he decides to come in, they are going to be in trouble. They do have one guy in the building inside of, you can see that he has the Uzi, another brilliant gun for the CQC situation that he finds himself in, but he's going to need more backup over here, Mohammed.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be...
Speaking about backup, there he comes.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to bring in a successful push here. As you can see, Muhammad now pretty isolated up on that top floor. We do have Madlol also now looking to see whether or not they can make any potential entry into this building. But it is down to a bit of a waiting game, and also looking to play those angles, as the players here from one more are definitely not going to be letting anyone walk over them. Already, Kurt 12 down to 3 players. as we did see Shetos getting sent on back. But now it's up to the rest of the squad. And I'm curious to see at what point we'll see Hazem actually joining up with the rest of the team. As, things are looking a little bit on the scary side. But we do see Hazem now coming in with that bit of a rotation, rolling on through with that vehicle.
Nicely done by him. I mean, that's what exactly what I would go for as well. I'm surprised also to see the type of gameplay that's happening here with 1M. They do have the option to push here. They know they have two guys inside or in the same vicinity where they find themselves. They do have the upper hand as well. But maybe it's time to capitalize on that for Kurd as well before anything happens from on the opposition side.
Yeah, that could definitely be an option for them to try and capitalize on that. But of course, now while we wait for this engagement to make its kind of conclusion, we do see a few other teams also starting to bring in a little bit of that back and forth. We got the players here from VGS. Also now just waiting to see if they can maybe find something. They are going up against Forces, as we can see just up ahead of them. Also AKM that we see in the feed coming under a little bit of fire. So 2 points of contention at least that we've got here, with a few more hits coming in there from the Rebels Rage as they are applying a little bit of that pressure. But we can see Romana now sending that nade out over on towards Sony, finds a little bit of damage, and this is now that opportunity for Romana to potentially add some more pressure onto the players here from the side of Team Forces. Ooh, a little bit of due diligence coming through here, looking to see if they can find any angles to play from within the building, as Romana does find a few hits coming through there from the side of Sony, but it does seem like Sony is now just going to be sticking to that window, at least for the time being. Up comes a bit of a rush. Romana not getting chased. Quick repositioning, but not going to be letting anything big out. But with that, it is going to be Romana who gets traded on. Sony also now falling right on down, and a beautiful play coming through here from Yafoz, just to look to bring a bit of that assistance in as well.
Yeah, that is always going to happen when you decide to go for that split. In the formation, going at Nova, especially an area like this, it's quite difficult if you are going to find yourself with a full squad right on top of you there. So unfortunately, they lost one of their players over here. Shams, the guy that's left over, as well as Zane. So it's going to be a tough situation for them. I mean, even if they don't need to leave the vicinity of Nova at the moment. They still find themselves in the zone. Maybe just wait also until the next zone. But engaging now, as they have only 2 players left over, it's not going to look good for them.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of
the next phases. Yeah,
it's going to be a little bit of a tough play to make, as we can see, of course, that zone still sitting quite pretty over on towards that southeastern side. And now it comes down to where these positional plays are going to come from, right? Are we going to see these teams look to get a little bit more aggressive and potentially try and contend with a few of these positions? Of course, the players coming through there from Virtual Gaming. So we can see Gaddafi and the rest of the squad still holding strong. We did see Romana obviously getting taken down not too long ago. And they also have the players just there alongside them. I believe that's the players there from Team Forces still holding their position over in towards the Nova crates. But, I mean, we also have the players there from, I believe that's Arab Golden, moving in towards that Sosnovka Island itself, the military base. So that's a good initial starting point or kind of setup that they've got going there. But I'm liking these positions also now being occupied towards that eastern bridge, really looking to make it quite troubling for who else would dare venture on towards that military island.
Yeah. Indeed, and actually SWAT MOROCCO over there, if you look at the map in pink, they're looking like they're setting a camp on the bridge, and that is what we want to see. We want to see teams setting up, getting ready for action, just trying to see exactly or feel where teams might be coming from, and Team MOROCCO might just get this one right, because they do have 3 teams on Military Base Island over there, as you can see, and it might just go their way, a couple of knocks or at least eliminations to the name we were hoping for them if they do stay put there. Yeah, good choice. Also now the next zone will be coming in, so they might move, they might not move. Let's have a look. There we go. So I think they're sitting good.
Yeah.
There we go.
Not a major shift coming in with regards to where that zone has gone. But I'm looking at the players there from 1 million, curious to see what they are going to be bringing through, as we do see them, relatively close to that eastern position. We do have a few other teams, of course, also holding up in the vicinity. So it's going to be interesting to see how these teams are going to be looking to play their current positions, as you know,
Ooh.
there's a lot of
Mm.
openings that these teams can still look to start filling up. And of course, speaking about that, one of the teams doing exactly that is going to be the players here from the side of Darkness, right? Already moving themselves into a good setup. You can see Tornado keeping a very watchful eye on these angles. Not going to be looking to push in too aggressively just yet. Instead, waiting to see where the rest of the teams are going to look to potentially rotate up towards. Also, we have several other teams yet to make those rotations in towards this next phase. So there could be a little bit of congestion coming in on that western front.
Indeed, it is definitely going to be. I mean, Central also, it's going to be difficult. We already have our three teams like we're seeing over here. Team at number 7, Darkness. They are taking I think, the best spot right now for farm because you'd have all the angles. However, the split, it's not 2-1-1. Maybe Rylan can decide to get in now because he's in his vehicle, but I don't want to see something go down, for just what happened previously where you find yourselves all alone because it's that time of the map where we're going to get a couple of teams coming in now, as we can see also making their way in over here. That's Iskandar from team number 6 as Rebels Rage also making their way straight, so not too far away from the guys in green over here in farm.
Yeah, and already we do see a little bit of that fortification now happening on the side of Darkness as they have a good position on the whereabouts as to where the players there from one more currently find themselves situated. We also have a little bit of that engagement now from CRYPTICS coming out in the feed as they are trying to deal with RTG before making their way over in towards the zone. So far, a rather fruitful run there for them as they were able to pick up at least that one elimination along the way. But now the team's continuing to like kind of converge on towards this eastern bridge position. So there could still be quite a few plays to come in from this as we have a quick look at that map. You can see the players there from VENOMY now starting to rotate past Prison, making their way further down south. We got the players there from Kurt 12 as well, also moving up, getting themselves situated on towards that eastern side. But center zone looking pretty tough, pretty contentious. As we can see, several hits now starting to come in through on that feed. But again, no major advances for the time being. The team's still just looking to play it a little bit more cautiously. Don't want to get themselves caught out unnecessarily.
Yeah.
And this is resulting in a little bit of a standoff, if we could say as much.
Indeed. Once again, sensational stuff to the guys that has been getting those knocks. Few of them getting 1 or 2 eliminations as well, and that is what you want at this point of the game. You want to have that under your belt before the next zone sets, because you do know, from a team spirit point of view at least, you've got a couple of shots in there, you've got some eliminations, and you are ready to do battle. You don't want to find yourself now in a place like, for example, like these guys. Let's see how they actually hold it down compared to the teams that do have a couple of firsts under their belt. But yeah, that's just one way to look at it, the way I see it. And there we go. Also, the next zone, all over Malta. Well, half water, half land. Yeah, surf and turf, DK.
Yeah, surf and turf, right? That is what we love to see. But of course, also now another interesting play coming through here is going to be the players from LUSAIL now just strengthening their own position towards that eastern bridge. So I'm liking this position, as we can see Salam and the rest of the team already now looking to get themselves situated. And I mean, things are tightening up in this phase, right? We still have several teams who are yet to rotate on through, but this is a great initial start as the teams now have that opportunity to try and maybe reach across, as LUSAIL now looking to contend for this bridge position. Meanwhile, we do see the players there from Rebels Rage also now coming out a little bit of fire, but look at Salam now just absolutely popping off, picking up beautiful trades. Also getting taken on down. It now turns to Wanted here for LUSAIL to try and keep the hopes alive for the team. Virtual coming in with a beautiful nade as Zeus now just rolls on in. Up comes Boyka and Chico with a quick play here, trying to make a bit of a save. We'll see whether or not Chico is going to be able to get this play situated. We got Gaddafi on the opposite end now, just holding strong there, hoping to see if they can find these angles. Zeus currently down, so it all now rests on the shoulders of Gaddafi. Gaddafi sending that nade, looking to try and reach across. 1 million also now looking to step up, potentially putting both LUSAIL and the players here from Virtual in the fray. Beautiful nades are getting sent across. Up comes LUSAIL with a beautiful amount of aggression. Will they be able to close it up though? Gaddafi trying to just pick up these elims from all the directions. but it is going to be an absolute barrage of the utility getting sent across now. Gaddafi quickly trying to heal up. Getting the weapon ready for another engagement. Tries a bit of a jump, but look at these nades. Oh, up they come. Will Gaddafi evade? No! Actually gets hit, and this could be the opening now for the players from LUSAIL to mount their assault, and with that, send another team back into the lobby.
Wow, I can't believe Gaddafi lost this long. Well done. Excellent gameplay by him. Just managing to keep himself within cover. Taking those nades head on. Ooh. There we go. Boosting now again. He is just holding the fort against almost a full squad over here. And he's been found eventually. Of course, I mean, we knew that was going to happen, but nevertheless, that was brilliant gameplay, what we just witnessed over there, just outside the bridge. Also, Virtual Gaming coming in so far. Shut the head, but at the end, they lost out there.
Oh, I mean, such a great push coming in there. I mean, loving the aggression coming in from LUSAIL. But now as we turn our attention across onto another engagement, it's going to be the players here from Rebels Rage, looking to see if they can find a few decent plays to make. Of course, they are going up against the players there from SWAT Morocco. We have seen a few of those engagements lighting up the feed. We can see Frost also now just positioned off in the distance. But that situation on towards the bridge also looking a little bit on the challenging side. So Quality trying to hold a bit of a Overwatch position here, while the rest of the team are positioned down below, looking to get right up close and personal with the players here from SWAT Morocco. Escanor finding a beautiful trade. Of course, Natsu also are getting taken right on down. And now it is up to the rest of the team, looking to see if they can piece this all together. Frost now a little bit further away, but the zone now also taking a little bit of a swing. Now just moving once again on towards that eastern side. So just adding to the pressure these teams are having to deal with, as we can see the players there from Team Forces actually opting into the water to try and see if they can come up onto that that beach side, maybe sneaking in alongside the players there from one more. But again, look at the positions coming through now from the players there of the Hunters. Good setup they've got all the way in the compounds on that far eastern side. Nice. Good 12 also not too badly situated here. But again, it's all going to come down to how these teams are able to play these potential angles.
Yeah, indeed. You want to find yourself on land at this point. Also, maybe within a compound, as you say, those teams are going to have the upper hand as the rest of the teams come in. I don't want to be a scuba diver right now as team number 5 over there. I'm looking at Team Forces swimming over. It's going to be difficult to get up for them. Definitely. I know that team and one more PUBG Mobile, they are on the corner there, and they will be keeping eyes on everybody that's going to try to come up behind them. They need to do that. That's just a given.
Yep.
So here we go. Just looking at team number 8 also, AKM. This is the team that I was speaking about. I've seen them before, their name on the leaderboards. So I'm excited to see what they can bring. Unfortunately, they lost 2 of their players early on, not too long ago. Stop and Savage, we saw on kill feed. Yep. Or how are we going to pronounce this one, DK? Or
Rio. No, it's Rio. Let's just go for Rio.
There we go. All right, so Rio just holding the fort down brilliantly with this teammate over there, and then we've got Al Chopper here from CRYPTICS. So this is the team that majority of the I'm assuming people are coming in to support. Well-known squad, full squad, 1 elimination to the name. Let's see what they can do. What are they going to do? Ooh. Yeah, there we go. They're getting straight for trouble here. One is in trouble. There we go. The scuba divers, they are in trouble. Who is that in brown? That is LUSAIL. Oh, LUSAIL. They are in a bit of trouble over here. Also, all of them also taking the water, staying down under, because the boys from one more, they do have a view with Pixie and Leader, as you can see there. They do know they heard the vehicle coming, so they are going to keep eyes on them. Let's see if they can actually get out of that tight situation that they find themselves in. Quality now getting a knock on Senke as well. Ooh, Leader getting wanted, as you can see in the kill feed, and that is coming from LUSAIL. I don't know if is Boyka the last survivor? Salam all the way at the back as well. So they're just trying to play the game so that nobody can find them underwater. It's going to be a difficult one. The guys from one more PUBG Mobile do have an excellent position.
Yeah, they definitely do have an excellent position. Now, it's all down to, you know, just capitalizing on what they have up ahead of them. As you can see, Boyka just still holding on to that position. Looking to see if they can maybe play that vehicle to the very, very end. Of course, now speaking about some challenging positions, we got the players here from Rebels Rage also looking to see if they can come in with a bit of an approach, right? Eagle now keeping a watchful eye on the waterway there, looking to see if they could maybe find any potential spray downs to bring on through. Not quite sure whether or not they'll be able to get any of those heads to really work out in their favor. As we can see now, turning their attention onto LUSAIL. Boyka out in the water now, trying to survive, trying to stay alive. It is quite challenging being situated currently in the water. But as you can see, Boyka has to surface to get another extra breath to come on through. Still a very contentious position over on towards this western side. So many teams now starting to step out into the fray there. Not quite sure whether or not, the players there from LUSAIL are going to be able to survive the water push. As we can see, Escanor and the rest of the squad now also just lining themselves up on the edge. CRYPTICS also coming under some crazy, crazy pressure here. As we can see, Marshall trying to hold strong. Out comes a quick peek here from Escanor, trying to see if they can pick up leader off in the distance. And it is now going to be an absolute bloodbath as these teams continue to roll on with the punches. Now, everyone, of course, is going to be looking to secure themselves moving into this late stage. We already are 5 phases deep, so there is definitely an absolutely essential play to be made here by these teams. Looking to see if they can secure a decent angle, at least to defend their position coming through. Of course, Marshall now being one of the players looking to do exactly that now for CRYPTICS. Does reach across a little bit with that nade, but unfortunately, the knock doesn't come through for Marshall. Let's see whether or not any subsequent nades will be able to find their position. We got Pixie up ahead. Up comes a little bit of a push. The players here from one more. Now feeling the pressure. Marshall trying to see if they can find that opening. Oh, there we go. Overkill now getting hit as well as Pixie. So Marshall really starting to pop it off here. But, I mean, the players from one more, they still have a few other safety positions kind of set up as well.
Yeah, with Jamaica over there and leader just making sure that they do have a different angle in on it. We saw the CRYPTICS coming in, they're just getting punished for making that decision to go into the water. I mean, we're still surviving. I think you can say thanks to the boys from CRYPTICS over there that just took a little bit of that pressure off from them. But it's yet to get into the to land, and as we can see by CRYPTICS, almost the entire squad getting taken up. Marshall still holding it down to the very end. LUSAIL Salam also managed to find himself back on, and we have Boyka also just making his way up, taking shots towards Marshall. Might just be a LUSAIL versus the CRYPTICS. Oh, and he gets knocked on an angle. So that's the thing, you got to make sure that you have your back, your west side, your east side completely at least covered with some smokes as you make your way onto the island from the water, because that's definitely going to happen. I mean, just looking at how quality and who's this Escanor capitalizing on what they were, just the patience that they had over there, and they have to deal with this as quick as they can. Oh, there we go, another knock coming in by Tornado. All spotted. Marshall still surviving down below there. But nobody has them in his scopes though. See what Marshall can do, just making sure that he has cover, trying to be difficult, not to be that easy, because you know if he goes, that's it for CRYPTICS, and they do know how important this game is. Game number 1, you want to start it off with the bang. We saw, I mean, yesterday Slam 4KT getting, the snipers getting the first chicken dinner, couple of double digits, and that's what we want to see from CRYPTICS as well. But there we go, Marshall has been eliminated for the CRYPTICS. Mon's also now taking shots on the left-hand side, DK. It is insanity all over. This is the point.
Yeah, absolute crazy insanity now unfolding, as we can see. Hit after hit now just railing on down. It is going to be Rallen who will get taken right on down. Beautiful sprays here from Mons, just keeping the pressure up. We've got a Hello as well as Yaya also now just positioned a little bit further off here. Just some great coverage coming in. But I'm curious to see what's going to be happening here. We've got the players from VENOMY also. Well, at least the final remaining hopeful there for VENOMY positioned off on the edge. We got Zane for the side of Team Forces. Also just looking for a little bit of an opening here to try and play from. As you mentioned before, we do have Jamaica out in the open. Quality coming through with some great shots there as well. But essentially, it is going to be the end of the road, at least for Quality, as the tension keeps on getting dialed up. But now we are down to our final 5 teams, looking to see who will be the teams to potentially close this one out. Jamaica now in a little bit of trouble. As we can see, the players there from Darkness looking to advance themselves closer to the edge of that zone. trying to get those reses, those heals pulled on through, looking to apply as many of these medkits as they can. But Jamaica now just showing an insane amount of trigger discipline, not looking to get into these engagements. But we do see Tornado now just getting down right in front of them. Up comes a beautiful play there as Jamaica looks to jump at the opportunity, picks up one, picks up potentially two and three, as they now just lay it on so super thick. Farouk is going to be the last remaining hopeful now for the side here of Darkness, but unfortunately it is going to be Farouk with just a little bit of a better position to play the one out absolutely phenomenally. With that, we are down to our final 3 remaining teams. 5 players still alive. We can see the players here from Team Forces. They are down to only 1. It is going to be Zay now looking to sneak around. RTG sitting currently on 3 players, and that means that there's only 1 contender left. None other than Farouk coming in from the side of Darkness. But now it is going to be up to Zayn to try and see if they can get themselves back in towards the zone. RTG holding an absolutely beautiful position. They've got full control coming in towards the zone. So now this is where the challenge comes in, right? Because this is now where Darkness and the players there from Team Forces will have to try and get themselves into a little bit of an improved position. And just to show the pressure that is coming through on these players, right, we are going to try and put it into, there we go, a little bit of a split. So we can see Farouk on the one side, Zayn on the opposite. And these are our 2 solos going up against the squad there of RTG.
Yeah, this is exactly what everybody wants to see. Exactly the 2 guys that's going to have to go against a full squad. They are alone. It can happen, but I mean, first class zonal player by RTG. Well done on them, because they do find themselves in the zone already. We've got Halo just outside on the outskirts. Oh, there we go. Spot coming through. Farouk getting shot and gets taken out. That is it. The last 2. It is Zayn, the last survivor. And of course, you have to stay as low as you can. And they are probably going to go hunting now. It's hunting time. Let's get the rifles out. And but you don't want to be too cheeky about that. We saw one player just not too long ago, a minute ago, almost taking out a full squad over there. Just one more player he had, but couldn't get it right. But here they come. Zayn spots one. He stands up. He takes a shot. Reveals his location, and of course, gets taken out there. It is RTG for the winning game, number 1.
Oh, beautiful play coming in there from RTG. I mean, look at Mons just bringing in an absolute insane amount of eliminations, sitting on 6 in total as an individual. Yaya also contributing 3 there, putting them on a grand total of 9. Looking at the players here from Team Forces also coming in with those 3 eliminations, taking that 2nd position. Darkness, of course, finishing strong over in towards 3rd place with 9 eliminations to their name, so a really good run. And the same, of course, can be said for the players here from one more PUBGM as well. As we can see, 8 eliminations, 4th position. So a really good play coming through with regards to the eliminations, as well as the amount of placement points they were able to pick up. Players there from VENOMY taking that 5th position. Rebels Rage coming into 6th, also finishing on 8. We've got the players then from LUSAIL coming up into that 7th position. And now it's down to where these teams are going to be looking to, like, kind of, push to in these remaining matches. We can see LUSAIL there, as I mentioned, 7th place. We got the players then, of course, from the Kurt 12 Devils up in 12th. We got CRYPTICS in 9th. Well, Kurt 12 Devils in 8th place. Sorry, I can't count today. The Hunters taking that 10th position. Of course, we got SWAT. We got the players there from Arab Golden, as well as AKM. We got Virtual Gaming. And then, of course, Kurt 12 also finishing up in 15th position. The first team actually getting sent back into the lobby. Our stars of the match goes over towards Mons from RTG, getting our MVP. Of course, it is going to be Leader from One More being the best companion, and also RTG Mons to land that final blow of devastation, hitting the nails into the coffin. So again, a very exciting run coming in here. The first match being absolutely challenging, right? I can't say it was an insane play, but it was a very challenging play for these teams, as the positions were kind of challenging and the teams didn't really have much to work with. But at the end of the day, it was an absolutely phenomenal run coming in there from RTG. So it's very, very satisfying performance indeed. But now that only means that next up, we are going to be moving into a little bit of that Miramar action. So be sure to stay tuned. Let us know in the chat which teams you are here to support, and we'll see you guys back in a short few moments. What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're getting ready to hop into our second match of the day, heading straight over into Erangel. But of course, before we do that, we need to take a bit of a look and see what the standing situation is coming through for the teams after our very first match. So without any further delay, here we are hopping straight in towards that. We can see the players there from RTG sitting on a very comfortable 24 points with that winner chicken dinner. The players there from Darkness also coming in with a 9 eliminations. But only finding those 10 placement points, sitting them on a grand total of 19. We do see the players there from One More sitting on 8 eliminations, and the same can be said for Rebels Rage. So some very impressive displays of performance coming through here from the teams. But as we can see, the points coming in there, 16, 15, and 12 points for One More, Team Forces, and Rebel Rage, respectively. But of course, we've got to take a little bit of a look over on towards that second page as well. You can see the players there from Virtual Gaming finishing up with 3 points. The same can be said there for Hunters as well as SWAT MOROCCO. Then we've got the players there from Arab Golden picking up those 2 points. And then, of course, Kurt 12 Devils as well as Kurt 12. The players there from AKM Team Africa as well as the Super Young Legends having a rather tricky run coming through in that very first match. But now, Victor, this is going to be the opportunity, right? Moving into the second match to try and potentially bring in a little bit of a stronger performance. Of course, it is also a bit of a change up moving in towards Miramar itself.
Need a couple of names. I'm quite surprised to see in the bottom half of the table over here. But you know what? They do have another opportunity. It's going to be Miramar. It's a totally different map. So maybe they have some snipers in their teams that they can put to use here in this map. I would like to see that coming through from these guys. And also just looking at that first half of the table, the guys just managing also to kind of balance, you know, their placement points with the amount of eliminations. You can see then it's not just second. You come second, you think you're going to be in second place. Now you got to get your eliminations as well, as you can see there with the guys that's just coming into the top 3.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit of a tough push here to see who will be able to secure themselves a strong finish moving through in towards this match. And of course, speaking about that, we are now just waiting to see where that flight path is going to be taking us and what these teams will have to try and deal with as they start making their way down into their respective drop locations, as well as looking to see where they can get themselves kind of set up and, make great use of those positions itself as well. But of course, as we know, only a few seconds remaining on the clock, so we are going to see where that flight path will be coming through from very, very shortly, as it is now exactly that time. The flight path now is going to be starting all the way down on that southern side, just south there of Puerto, and it is going to be heading all the way across past Los Leones, La Bendita, Minas Generales, as well as Cruz del Val, and stopping all the way to the north there over towards Torre Ahumada. So a little bit more of an eastern flight path coming in. So it is going to be a little bit more challenging for those teams that favor that western side of the zone. But as we know, right, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of a vehicle rotation to get themselves into their loot position. So I'm curious to see where these teams are going to be dropping and then how these rotations are going to unfold.
Yep, we do know it's Miramar. It's a big map, so probably try and get yourself into an area where there's not going to be that much trouble. I mean, it's the map of time. I would say you can spend as much more time looting, getting yourself sorted for the next battles coming up. Yeah, that's what I would try and go for, mate. That long distance car ride that you spoke about over there, trying to get myself more towards the Montenegro side, Power Grid even. The places that the western side jumpers do prefer, they can still go for that jump. Yeah, I mean, it's totally different playing flight this time around. It wasn't the west game number 1. We all the way on the east this time.
Yeah, I mean, Monte Nuevo definitely not being outside of reach. At least it's not directly reachable from the flight path. But now looking at where that zone has gone, taking that shift up in towards the north,
Wow.
that is going to impact the team's decisions as to where they are going to be rotating towards initially, looking to get themselves set up through this looting phase. But already looking at the players they're coming through from Arab Golden, they are off to a great start, right? So they are already looking to push a little bit closer on towards, I assume, probably La Cobreria. but not quite sure if they'll be able to reach all the way across. But they'll definitely get super, super close to that. And of course, up in towards Hacienda del Patron, we can see the players there from the Hunters already dropping down with a little bit of opposition joining them there, right? We got the players there from Rebels Rage just positioned over on towards that western side with SWAT holding on to the very edge of zone. RTG right there alongside them. So a few interesting drops coming through from these teams, but now all they got to do is get themselves through this looting phase successfully and potentially try and push into those later phases with the repositioning we could be seeing coming through from them. But I'm also curious to see what's going to be happening down in towards that Los Leones position, as we do have the players there from the Kurt 12 Devils. We've got Virtual Gaming. We also have the players from AKM situated there as well. So it is going to be a little bit of a tough start, especially over in towards Los Leones. But this is again where that kind of city start I think could actually be working out for these teams, as they'll have a little bit of leeway to work with, right? So they won't get as punished because they can quickly just duck in and out of these buildings.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, the map is also favoring the guys that I would say, I don't know, it's more of a 50-50. The guys that were patient, they managed to find themselves closest to the zone. However, the boys that jumped first, I mean, we're looking at Los Leones. They do have we have 3 teams in there right now, just trying to sort themselves out and try and not get into any trouble and get themselves into that later stages. However, looking at Minas de Val, we have a VGS over there, and down below also we do have, who is that? The Rebels Rage. They have a clear pathway to get into the next zone.
Yeah.
Nobody to deal with, and it should be smooth sailing for them, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, Minas del Val could be an option for them to try and make, of course, for Virtual Gaming. They're actually a little bit closer towards Chumacera instead of Minas del Val. But either way, right, as you said, it's going to be a rather comfortable rotational path for them to get themselves situated coming through in towards that zone. And as we look over in towards the lovely Los Leones, we can see, even though we have 3 or 4 teams situated here, it's not as jam-packed as it looks looking at the map, right? There's obviously a lot more space coming in between these teams. So there'll be a lot of opportunities for these teams to get themselves into a little bit more of an improved position, get themselves beautifully set up before continuing onwards into that next phase. And I'm curious to see where the players here from One More are going to be looking to go. Meanwhile, we do have several other teams still just going about their loot business. We got RTG, as we can see Yaya positioned on towards that southeastern side of the zone. And they've got SWAT just up north of them. But again, nothing too treacherous for these teams really to be too concerned about just yet. Of course, looking at that map as well, we do have the players there from Team Forces all the way down towards that far southern side, up in towards Los Higos. But further up north, I mean, a really decent spread coming in from these teams. But now it all comes down to the teams coming through with the rotations, getting themselves situated, and setting themselves up in anticipation as to where they think this next phase could be going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about it now. Thus far, it's been a lot of cautious gameplay by all of the teams. Also, just looking at the boys from One More. I'm sure all of them just jumping into Los Leones with 3 squads we saw there at the beginning. Obviously seeing each other, and they are rather opting for the choice. Let's get our weapons and get out of here so that we can get into the next zone. That's probably looking like what they are for. So yeah, the cautious gameplay seems like it's the word of the day here on Miramar. A little bit of that in Erangel as well, but it's not going to last that long. We do know after the first zone, it's not going to be much. We got the El Paso, water treatment, La Cabrera, places that people are very familiar with as well. And a lot of traps, booby traps as well, going up north.
Yep, definitely a lot of those booby traps coming through here. So the teams need to be rather careful as to where it is they're going to be going. So the players here from RTG now just, slowly playing this position. We know that we've got the players here from SWAT also positioned not too far away from them. So I'm curious to see whether or not we could potentially have that engagement coming through between SWAT and the players there from RTG. As we know, RTG, if they move straight up towards center zone, that is most likely where we're going to be seeing them rotate up alongside. Of course, it does seem like the players here from SWAT are now instead focusing on getting themselves a little bit further in towards that zone. maybe they are going to be rolling
Ye-
right through Hacienda, or potentially San Martin. As we know, we've got the players there from the Hunters situated up in towards San Martin. So, you know, we could have a few of those engagements coming through. But, I mean, for the time being, it does seem like SWAT are looking to play it safe, right? They don't want to play, you know, any unnecessary plays here. Just want to take it as cautiously as they can while still looking to, you know, be quite contentious with regards to their positioning.
Yeah, and you know what? I'd say why not? It is murder mall. Make use of the space. You know, splits. Do some splits. Be cautious though. Make sure that you can at least find yourself out of any situation. I mean, we're watching SWAT right now. They're doing a little bit of the opposite. They're trying to stick as close by. We can see the split. We have 3 on top of the other, with one doing a little bit of, well, he just pulled it in now. It is Psycho, but he's pushing out, as if you look at the map closely. I think they're trying to find themselves in a more comfortable situation. Maybe also looking like they hunting, because I'm looking at Psycho that's doing his drive, Rugal as well in his vehicle over here. I think they're doing some hunting. They need to get some knocks. They're trying to get into the top 3. That is the main objective here tonight. So we got to get some knocks in here, or I mean eliminations to the name.
Yeah, I mean,
they missed out in game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, the only way that these teams are going to get themselves into a little bit more of a favorable position with regards to eliminations will be through, you know, applying a little bit of that aggression, right? Because if they're going to be sitting back waiting to see, you know, where the action is going to be coming from, they could be waiting quite a little while, right? This is you know, Miramar, and it is quite a spacious map, so it could take some time before teams actually bump in towards each other. And speaking about that, we could potentially now see the players here from SWAT and Rebels Rage getting into a little bit of a encounter here. So we can see Eagle just positioned up ahead, Psycho already taking a little bit of damage. We got Rugal now looking to bring in a little bit of that fortification or potential support to come in as well. But now this is where we look to see whether or not they can actually find these angles to work out in their favor. Not quite sure where Rugal is going with that kind of view, but as we quickly pop over on towards Eagle, we can see Eagle now being relatively isolated from the rest of the team here. I'm not really seeing anyone else holding up in the vicinity. So that is, all in of itself, a very kind of risky position now for Eagle to be playing.
Yeah, between Watertree and Hacienda, that's going to be a tough battle between those teams. They don't have much cover to work with. I mean, except Lucy, what's this, Lucia?
LUSAIL.
Team number 9,
LUSAIL,
that's LUSAIL, thank you. LUSAIL Esports, they look like they have a little bit of the better position, I would say. SWAT also, they are in trouble. I don't think I would want to be on top of that hill right now. They do have the boys over here, Eagle Caster from Tuard, just driving around, also looking for better positions, trying to get an angle. You can see also the distance, the split between them is they're doing really well with that. Also not too far out, SWAT are trying to escape the boys from LUSAIL as well. Yeah, there we go, and the knock comes in. Chicho actually gets the knock on Rugal, and Rugal will get taken out. That's a trap position where we find out the split does not work out. Always.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't always pay off, but as we can see now, it is up to the teams to try and kind of play this position out, looking to see if they can find anything to work from where they currently are situated. And of course, LUSAIL still looking to see if they can reach across. We do have Frost there, not getting hit as the players from Rebels Rage lay down a little bit of that pressure on it towards them. So with Escanor doing some absolutely phenomenal shooting here, it is going to be interesting to see just how this whole kind of turn of events will unfold here. LUSAIL now having to just kind of recalculate their approach. Fortunately for them, they haven't had a super detrimental run. I mean, they still have all their players up. They've got 2 eliminations to their name. So all they can do now is look to see if they can find any other potential opportunities. We do see Natsu there from SWAT also just off onto the side. So, I mean, who knows, right? Maybe this could take a great swing for them. We could even see a few more of those eliminations. Still, Rebels Rage also holding up in the vicinity, so they've not entirely disengaged. Instead, they've actually given a little bit more space now onto the players here from LUSAIL to see what they are going to be doing. with that opportunity. And of course, speaking about opportunities being presented to players, I mean, we do have a few of those quick repositions coming through now as the teams continue to head further and further up in it towards that zone itself. So, I mean, still holding on to second phase. We do have the blue zone now making its way on in, so the teams will have to try and, come up with a good position to move in. Already we do see the players there from Arab Golden moving closer towards that center zone position. We also have the players in from Rebels Rage, also very centered up. But blue zone continuing to move on through. We're going to be seeing where this next phase will be taking us and what the teams will have to do to try and get themselves secured moving into that third phase. Of course, it's going to be off any time now. So let's see where it goes and where exactly it is going to be taking us. Instead, it moves over on towards the western side and beautifully blessing the players there now from the Kurt 12 Devils. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what they're going to be doing with the zone now, being so gracious on towards them.
Yeah, indeed. And look at it immediately. Everybody in their vehicles. Let's get into the next zone. It's going to be a tough one, though. We already have some people taking the dead center. And that is team number 17, which is Kurt 12 Devils, like you just said over there. They're still trying to get in with the vehicle. Boyka and his teammates rushing, just trying to get a good spot at least. I can't say the best spot. I think the guys from the Kurt Devils got the best spot. They got the high ground. That's what you want. It is Miramar. You don't want to be caught down below with the team up above. You're just third party peeking the hell out of you. That is not what you want on this map. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one. A lot of teams still needs to get into the zone as well, DK. It can go either way for everybody. A lot of teams are going to get probably eliminated. The kill feed I expect. There we go. We got a knock coming through. It's going to start pouring in slowly. And we see that just happening on actually on top there by Creative Fields. The battle happening between, that is one more Africa over there and Arab Golden over here with Sin just trying to get himself in on a better angle, I would say, rotating all the way around. We've got Sin now approaching. It's not going to be an easy job. We saw one more just one more can do.
Yeah, all they got to do now is look to just play this one out, right? They do have the position just up ahead of the players here from Arab Golden. Ooh. But as we can see, Arab Golden already down to 3 players they go. Ooh, it is a little bit of a tough play now in between the players there from VENOMY and LUSAIL, as well as we just saw in that feed. Boyka, fortunately, getting knocked on down and finished up. And it has been a very detrimental run. But now, I mean, looking at what we've got happening on the screen here, the players here from Arab Golden and the players there from the side of Darkness, a little bit of a contentious play coming through here. We've got Whisper positioned further up high as well. Looking to see if they can maybe make a bit of a play up against the the players here from One More. But it is going to be such a difficult play, right? They definitely need that reinforcement from the rest of the team now to step up.
Indeed, it is a shocking split here for the guys from this is Arab Golden. I am so shocked from what I'm seeing with Spell. So just managing to stay alive in that situation. A full squad, all of them one more right there. I'm surprised they didn't go for the rush. But anyway, Whisper does escape. He can pull up back with his teammates, but it looks like they are going for the complete split here. None of them really sticking together, believing once again in their skills, and it's working for them thus far. But we'll see what they decide to do. The zone is going to get decided anytime soon, and there we go. It's going to go even more central into Creative Fields. It's going to be a difficult one. We already have Code 12 is in there already, as well as Team Forces, as they will probably get the upper hand to gatekeep, find a nice spot, get some cover. Couple of knocks coming out in the blue as well. Whoa! One's nearly getting taken out there.
Yeah, I mean that was
elimination that to go through.
That was a very risky play coming in there for Wanted. I mean, such a challenging position to try and pull off there, but you know, successful run nonetheless, as Wanted now was able to kind of bring in a good finish there for the team. The rest of the players here now, as we look back onto the players there from Arab Golden, are going to be coming under a little bit of fire. Whisper and Sin will be the final 2 remaining hopefuls here. Let's see whether or not they'll be able to make a good stand. And, you know, look to see if they can maybe bring up some devastation on towards the players there from Darkness. But again, a very risky position to try and play out here, as they still have that kind of threat from 1 million, not 1 million, rather the players there from 1 more to try and deal with before they now start making their way up in towards that next phase. Got a beautiful angle coming in here from Whispers. We can look onto that zone. We can see it has now centered up a little bit further on towards that northwestern side. Not a drastic shift, but it is still looking quite favorable now for the players there from the Code 12 Devils, as well as Virtual Gaming also moving through, getting themselves situated. And of course, still a lot of teams having to try and find a decent position to pull in. But looking at that setup coming in towards Crater Fields, and so many players already situated on the edge of that crater, I mean, it's going to be quite a challenging position for them to try and play now. We see Wanted also now just pulling up ahead of Whisper there. The spray comes through, and with that, it is going to be Wanted now getting traded right on down to 12 teams we go. Still have 38 players remaining. And, you know, the team's really being put to the test here.
Yeah, indeed. Code 12 just over there in the center, enjoying themselves. Arab Golden, I'm surprised what happened over there on the outskirts. They found themselves literally entrapped there. But just like that, we do know it's PUBG Mobile. Things changed in a matter of seconds, and they find themselves okay again. So Whisper and Sin still surviving, making their way now into the zone, taking on Darkness as well as one more. I mean, two guys just taking the world on over here on the north, looking really strong.
Yeah. I mean, the players there from One More having an absolutely beautiful run across the board there. And now we look to see what these teams are going to be bringing on through. I mean, Darkness still holding up alongside the players here from Arab Golden, trying to jump over onto other players, but it's not letting me do anything. There we go. All right, so Rallen also now just positioned up alongside this rock, looking to see if they can maybe find a different approach to get themselves back into contention here. But again, it is going to be super challenging. The players there from One More also now just positioned off to the edge. Definitely looking to see if they can lay down a little bit of fire. And with that, the players from Arab Golden have to back their bags and head on back towards that lobby as they are dealt a very challenging hand. Of course, the blue zone is going to pop up once again as well now. And we see it now continuing its efforts on towards that western side. And again, looking at Code 12, they find themselves once more in a good kind of setup. All right, this is obviously Code 12 that has rotated up. The Code 12 Devils this time around having to get that reposition kind of locked in and see if they can now come into, you know, being some contenders to finish in the top 3, potentially moving into this match.
Indeed, this time game number 2 is Curl. Indeed, that goes for that zonal gameplay. If you find yourself in the center of the next zone that you're coming, it's very likely that you'll find yourself exactly where they find themselves. We're finding themselves all the time here on Venomy. But anyway, they do have a good position because they are going for the zonal play, and that is what you want to see if you want to get yourself in the top 3 and in a nice spot in the battle. You don't want to worry about the next zone. You want to find yourself in that next zone, and well done in doing just that. Look at that. They find the shots coming through from them onto one more. One more looks like they are in trouble. Sitting comfortably though. Team number 4 here, man. Virtual Gaming. They'll be king of the hills over here.
Yeah, they're definitely looking to get themselves to be king of that hill. Of course, the players here now from coming through from the side there of the Hunters, also looking to push in from that eastern side. As we can see, they are in the vehicle. They are moving. We just don't know where they're moving to, but, you know, they are definitely moving. A little bit of a bump coming in there from Bloody as well as we try to head over onto the players now from Code 12. Also looking to get themselves set up on towards the zone, looking for a bit of a potential play to make from here. As we can see up on the map, it is still going absolutely crazy. The team's still hammering through with the blows there, looking to see if they can reach across and secure themselves a good finish coming into this phase. Meanwhile, Virtual and the players there from Code 12 Devils really fighting it out on that very edge of the zone. But again, I mean, it's super challenging for these teams to get themselves into a good kind of setup. The players there from Code 12 Devils now looking to see if they can bring in anything. Meanwhile, Code 12 themselves still positioned on the east. And that, of course, now is the end of the players from the Code 12 Devils. They continue to push further and further forward. Virtual Gaming, also a beautiful bit of a setup that they've got going on their front, right? Positioned all the way over on towards that more southern side, but also occupying a considerable chunk of the western territory. So this is where, especially a team like Code 12 are going to be having their hands full. And of course, Virtual still having, or rather still capitalizing on that high ground, are going to have themselves in a very favorable position. But we can see Romana now looking to reach across on towards RTG. It is going to be Narco being the final remaining hopeful for them. That zone now continuing on towards the western front, just shifting a little bit further up on towards the north. And this is where, I mean, the players here from Virtual Gaming can just look to sit and capitalize on their high ground advantage.
Indeed, look at that formation coming through from Virtual Game throughout the entire zone that just was before. But they do have Zeus trying to get in on his teammate that just got knocked by the Darkness. Darkness got the favor of the next zone though, but Virtual Gaming, OP positioning by them. They need to get into the next zone though as fast as they can. They do have nobody to worry about over there. As you can see, Roman, they're just also trying to deal with the boys in front of him. It's going to be difficult because, I mean, he's there for the taking. No shots coming through, and finally finds himself in a vehicle and he's on his way out. Hunt, Bloody on the right hand side, also just trying to make his way through, but it's going to be a gauntlet ahead of him.
Yeah, one hell of a gauntlet indeed. As we can see, Virtual Gaming trying to stick to the high ground, and the Hunters now trying to get themselves situated back up in towards this next phase. The team's definitely still just trying it out relentlessly, but a great play coming through there from you next, picking up that elimination, looking to apply a little bit of pressure onto the players there from SWAT, who we had just up amongst them. Of course, now you can see Mahal getting taken down. You next, being the next one to get traded on down. Look at this position coming through from Romana now, just looking to capitalize on the high ground, spotting the players there from one more position down below. Leader and Pixie in a little bit of trouble, but Romana, just going to try and play it super cautiously. Meanwhile, Bloody still just trying to play in and around this reservoir, looking to see if they can find a potential approach to come on through. The Hunters down to 2. But Romana here having beautiful vantage points. We've got Mohal now looking to step up. A few of those lazy taps coming in as well. I mean, yeah, I know I just said lazy, but the Romana definitely not being lazy. As you can see, that hit on towards Mahal coming in. And with that, it is going to be end of the road as that elimination gets confirmed up. Darkness also now looking to roll on through Ralin. Looking for a bit of that opening there. We got Mohammed also off in the distance for the players there from Kurt 12 down to 5 teams. We go 13 players left, and it's going to be a Romana now just looking to absolutely capitalize on this already. Virtual Gaming sitting on 11 eliminations.
Wow, and they are just taking the eliminations. It looks like they might just get this chicken, and it's all on their side. They are playing just the edge of that hill over there, exactly the way they played it before. They took out CRYPTICS previously, not too long ago, a couple of seconds ago. Full squad wipe in a matter of seconds, and they're looking to do the exact same thing. They have the higher ground. I mean, this is what all the teams should have been rushing for, but instead they find themselves down there. Look at this formation over here from Roman at the back. Up here the rest, just up here is his teammates, and they just get, Romana slips though, and that might just be, that's going to make it difficult for them, because, I mean, all the teams are trying to sort themselves out, and they are going to waste some time with this revive over here. But Gaddafi, he's keeping them at bay with his nades, and that's exactly what he needs to do. Darkness fallen, also staying in the darkness over here as Gaddafi makes his way down up ahead in front of him. He has the AKM though, so he's hoping it's going to be a CQC situation with himself and Gaddafi. Let's see how this one plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be a really risky play to try and make. Yes, we do have Gaddafi and the rest of the team still looking absolutely phenomenal, sitting on those 14 eliminations. They have picked up Rollin along the way. Down to the final 3 teams we go. It is going to be the players here from Virtual up against only 2 contenders, right? That is all they have to try and deal with. We have Mohammed there coming in from Kurt 12 on the opposite side, as well as Pixie from the side of one more. But now, will they be able to kind of close this one up as our final 2 contenders who stand between Virtual Gaming and an absolutely phenomenal run are now just trying to play the edge of this blue zone. We can see Mohammed now looking for a bit of an opening. We do spot here, falls out up ahead. A knock comes through, but down goes Mohammed. Now up to Pixie, the final contender left to try and bring it all together. Pixie finds a bit of an angle on towards Yafaz. Down they go. One down, a few more to go. Already 8 eliminations coming in now for one more, and that is all it takes all that it needs, rather, for the teams to kind of wrap up that fight. Virtual Gaming walking away with an absolutely phenomenal performance. 17 eliminations to their name. The players there from one more, finishing up on 8. We got the players then from Kurt 12 coming in on 2 eliminations in 3rd place. Darkness finishing with 5 in 4th. We got the Hunters with 4 in 5th position. And of course, we got the players there from RTG. We got SWAT. We got Kurt 12 Devils. We got the players from CRYPTICS coming in. We've got the team from Arab Golden, as well as Rebels Rage, Team Forces. We got LUSAIL finishing in a very surprising amount of eliminations, right? Actually coming in with 8 alongside their name. Wanted picking up 5 there. AKM finishing in 14th. Then, of course, the players there from VENOMY ESPORTS taking that 15th position, walking away with 3 eliminations. Our stars of the match are going to be none other than Romana for Virtual Gaming, being the MVP. We got Bloody there from the Hunters, being the best companion. And, of course, Gaddafi from Virtual Gaming also being the player to land the final blow in this match. So, absolutely phenomenal performance coming in from these teams. And a very, very exciting run. I mean, very, very challenging. But we, of course, did see several teams coming in with some super crazy amount of eliminations.
Yeah, and of course it is Virtual Gaming coming in with a double digits there. Almost the exact, I'll say a replicate or duplicate of game number 1 over there. If we looked at RTG, full squad at the end, having to deal with the last 2 teams being 1-1. And of course, you do get the chicken dinner in that situations, especially when it comes to this level of gaming.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful runs coming through there. But of course, excited to see what the teams are going to be bringing forth as they now step on towards Sanok. A little bit of that CQC action. So be sure to stay tuned. We'll see you guys right back after the break. And we'll be returning with the match results as well as the insanity that is Sanok. So stay tuned. See you guys back in a few minutes.
Sanok. Go.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're getting ready to move into our third match of the day. But of course, as per usual, before we do any of that, we have to take a quick look at what the match results are and what the overall standings look like after this last match. So, of course, without any further delay, we are going to be hopping straight into that. Starting on that second page, as we can see the players there from Super Young Legends and Team AKM sitting on a big fat bubble each. The Code 12
Wow.
Devils sitting on 3 points. And of course, we got the players there from the Arab Golden team up on 4. We got MOROCCO SWAT on 5. Moving all the way up on towards Code 12 that are sitting on 12 points. But I mean, strangely enough, CRYPTICS actually sitting on only 12 points to their name. That is definitely not something we are accustomed to seeing. But of course, now as we take a quick look at that first page, it is going to be the players there from One More PUBG sitting right up in pole position, 1 point ahead of Virtual Gaming, who we see coming in with their own winner chicken dinner, sitting on a grand total of 35 points. Darkness also up in contention there with 32 points in third place. And of course, RTG, as we saw come through with that beautiful winner chicken dinner as well, sitting on a grand total of 28 points, almost said 82. And I realized I can't read. So I tried again, and we succeeded. It's only
You got it.
28, not 82. I'd be a little bit surprised if it was 82 after only 2 matches. But you know what, Victor? It's just one of those things.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not. I'm just comparing
Mm.
to the western side of Africa. After game number 1, we already at our 30s, and yeah, we almost on game number. Well, game number 3 is about to begin, and finally to the 30. So, what do you think that means? Do you think the competition is a little bit more evenly spread here on the northern side of
Yeah, it does
Africa?
definitely look like the teams are a lot more balanced out in comparison. As we can see, looking at
Yeah,
the placement point consistency that we've got, I mean, all the way from Team Forces up to the players there from One More. It's very neck and neck.
yeah.
Even looking at the amount of eliminations coming through, I mean, LUSAIL, even though they're sitting all the way in 7th position, they have still been able to find an absolute bucket load of eliminations, right? Sitting on
Mm,
11. So, I mean, if they were able to finish up their placement points, we could actually see them sitting up in that, potentially third or fourth
indeed.
position, respectively. But of
What's
course, now speaking about respectively and speaking about potential place to come on through, we are going to be making our way on towards that flight path to see what it is the teams will have to work with. And of course, it is starting all the way over on towards that southern side. Near, well, kind of nowhere, right? Really, there's no real position down on towards that southern side where it's starting, and is of course heading
Bucks
fast.
maybe?
Yeah, well, I mean, Docks is
Yeah.
close to there, but it's not exactly Docks, right?
Yeah.
It's almost there.
Uh,
So, I mean, it is going to be a
yeah.
little bit of a hot drop coming in towards that southern position towards Docks, as we can see the players there from One More and the Hunters already dropping into very close proximity to each other there. But the rest of the teams, breaking off, heading into their respective directions. Of course, that zone is going to be sitting slightly on towards the eastern side. So again, not a super aggressive zone shift coming in here. So it is going to allow the teams to get themselves a little bit better situated and spread out before getting right down to the business, which is going to be absolute chaos on the screen.
Yeah, and we know this is a complete different map. We're looking at Miramar before. All the players trying to tactically find a better place to find themselves within the center, but it's stuck. You can jump anywhere on this map. The next zone, it's pretty big. You will find it a lot easier to get into the zone, but not actually into the zone without getting into trouble because it's that small. It's jam packed, as you can see. All the outskirts areas are full of teams. No one opting for the central drop. So we're probably going to see a couple of elims coming through very early.
Yeah, yeah, especially over down in towards Sami, where we've got the players there from Kurt 12 and the team from AKM, but also expecting a little bit of a disruption happening on that docks position as well. But of course, speaking about that, we are going to be hopping straight over towards Hazem here to see what they are going to be bringing on through and whether or not we're going to be finding any of those eliminations. Meanwhile, we do have Bloody now getting a trade-off in that feed, but also then getting traded off themselves. So beautiful bit of an exchange coming in between the players there of 1 million. Oh, not 1 million. I keep on saying that. One more and the players there from the Hunters. So as we can see, Hazem now trying to just move about. We also have you next. from the Hunters. Now just positioned above the players here from one more. Already losing out onto Bloody there, but up comes Overkill. Down they go. Beautiful play. It is now going to be Unex trying to bring in a little bit of that repayment, but of course the shots are going to be raining on down. And this is a quick reposition, but unfortunately, I mean, Unex is not able to evade all those shots getting fired off in their direction.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one because I mean I'm just looking at where Unix is situated. It's quite good. He's a little bit on some higher ground over there, but Leader on the opposite side from one more is also finding himself on a really good position, just able to make sure that they can't push down to the rest of his teammates down there. Unix also now, just because of that, we saw Leader taking some shots on Mr. Unix over here and forces him back down to docks. He is in zone. But it's time to form back up with your teammates because it's not going to be that easy. One more wasn't going to give it off that easily.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit more of a challenging play to try and keep it all together as the teams now continue to just look to reposition themselves a little bit more favorably. But again, it is still a pretty tight play. I mean, Hunters, they've now been able to get themselves down on towards the boat. Well, at least Unex has been able to make that push all the way down. But as we jump back into the action, it's going to be the players here from AKM now just speaking out and finding a beautiful spray on towards Mohammed. It's not a difficult name to say, but for some reason I was just struggling my butt off with that one. It is now going to be stopped here, looking to push on through with that M249. We do see Shetos also just on the opposite end of that rock, looking to bring in a little bit of that pre-fire and potentially get the trade on towards stop. But oh, Shetos now puts a stop to Stop's advance. And with that, stopping them in their tracks. So AKM still holding on to 3 players. So curious to see what they're going to be looking to do here. As we do see Luca and also just rushing further on forward. So there is still a great opportunity for both these teams to pick up even more of those eliminations.
Yeah, both AKM players getting taken out at the exact same time. Stop and Savage back to the lobby. Punished there for the complete split up had. And I was rooting for AKM. They're down below on the log. All zeros over there. But let's see, maybe they can do something. They are 2 against 1, but they do get taken down. It is Rio that gets knocked. I got that one right there, DK. It is Cheetos here right in front of him. He can get that elimination as quick as possible. There we go, Leak also super low. They know exactly where he is. With Cheetos just firing shots straight towards him, and then eventually his teammate at the back there. Hazen gets the final elim. Again, back to the lobby once more again this early.
Yeah, but a good run coming through here from the players of Code 12, definitely looking to step up their performance and bring in a little bit of a betterment as to their performance that we've been seeing so far. I mean, definitely, it's quite surprising to see the players there from Code 12 positioned, so far down on the overall standings. I mean, definitely 9th place with 12 points. Yes, it does play in nicely with their name, Code 12, right? But still, it's not a position. We're very accustomed to seeing them, and definitely, expecting them to kind of step it up. But they got to do it in this match and the remaining match because that's all they've got left, right? Once that's done, that's kind of all she wrote because we know only 3 teams will be progressing through in towards the continental finals, and also only the top 3 teams will be walking away with their prize money after today's performances.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the start that Code 12 would have wanted. Sami as well as AKM just doing them the job, they're getting them the 4 elims immediately. That's definitely going to push them up a little bit more into the top rankings. It depends also obviously on the guys ahead of them. But yeah, that's the best start that they could get. And also it's clear roads ahead for them as they do make their way now into the next zone. The zone will be decided as well and might just end up very close to them. And I think it does. It looks like it does. And yeah, it's not much to deal with them on the side of Sanok. There's almost no teams on this island at least.
Yeah, there's definitely not much to do on that side, right? Because if we take a quick look at the map here, we can see we do have the players there from Team Forces situated nearly smack dab center zone. But another position that I'm interested to see what's going to be happening there is with the players there from Arab Golden, and one more position down on towards that southern side, right? Definitely an
Yeah.
interesting position to see both these teams in as they now are starting to advance their way further up towards that zone. And I mean, looking at what we have up towards that northern position as well, still a few teams to get their positions locked in. We do have the good 12 Devils on the approach. But
Ooh.
down south, this is where things are going to get a little bit more sweaty.
Rebel Rage over here in the mix. Arab Golden as well as one more. Three squads almost on top of each other. We've seen one more and Arab Golden going at it in Miramar. So this is the opportunity that Arab Golden has been waiting for. But there we go. It is one more again coming in with the knocks on Arab Golden. They're looking like they are in so much trouble now. Shots coming in from LUSAIL, nearly getting the knock. But Whisper has been taken out once again by Leader. They have been reduced to a two-man squad in a matter of moments over here. One more doing it well. There we go. Found it's a third party, man. It's a difficult position that they find themselves once again in. This time a lot more earlier in the game. Van still trying to provide some cover with his nades. It's going to be a difficult job for him.
Yep, it's going to be a super challenging job, as we can see now. The players here from Rebels Rage up against Arab Golden and the team there from One More. So, I mean, this is a very, very tough position that they find themselves in. But I'm liking this play coming through now from One More. You know, not waiting down on that hillside. Instead, going to be looking to push up and apply a lot of pressure coming through on towards these teams. But as we can see, Ban, they're from the side of Arab Golden. They're now just going to be positioned on the edge, just, you know, huddling down, trying to stay as quiet as they can possibly manage to be. But it does also seem like the players here from One More, they are not too interested in taking that fight and, you know, expending too much time there. Instead, it does seem like they're looking to get themselves situated a little bit further up towards that zone. As you can see, one of the players now from Arab Golden getting sent away. We do have a little bit of a drop coming down there as well, but this is going to be that opportunity now for Ban to try and maybe sneak in a quick reposition here. As we can see, the rest of the teams either in front or behind of Ban, you know, they are focused on kind of their own approach, right? So that could be a beautiful opening now for Arab Golden to get themselves moving through in towards that next phase.
Yeah, I mean, either way you look at it, it's going to be so difficult for Ban. He needs to try and find himself in a position where he doesn't need to take on these teams. Full squads lie ahead, behind, everywhere you look at it here in Quarry. But also well done on One More. Deciding, as you mentioned earlier on, they decided to go further into the zone, and they find themselves in a much more better position. Also, probably for the next zone, but the only time will tell, though. But opting once again for that zonal gameplay there. Band also getting himself out of that sticky situation that he found himself in. But the teams are coming close to him. He's in a little bit of trouble over here. Rebels Rage are not too far out. They can smell him, but they just need to find him.
Yeah, I'm curious
They
to
know
see.
somewhere.
I'm curious to see what Ban's going to be doing with this position. Of course, as we know, right? Rebels Rage right there alongside them. So we've got Eagle as well as Escanor just holding off. But we can see Ban just there on the very edge, just sitting and listening to what is happening around them. Curious to see whether or not Eagle and Produx is actually going to be looking to explore a little bit more. And that could be, you know, a great play actually coming through here then for Ban, because as we can see right now, they are probably going to run right up in front of him. Yes, indeed. Beautiful bit of a spray coming through there. And now it is going to be that rush. But it is also they're going to be the players from Rebels Rage to come in to assert their domination there. It is going to be Eagle now, continuing with their efforts on towards the players there for One More, as we can see Overkill.
Wow.
Now also having to back their bags. Jamaica holding up on towards the edge there, or Jamaica, whichever one you want to go for. But either way, there's decisions that need to be made by these teams. We also see the players there from the side of Team Forces also now just looking to reach a little bit further across. Again, both these teams relatively close to each other, but nothing to be too worried about just yet. It is, however, up to the players there now from Team Forces to look to fortify their position as they are centered relatively center zone, right? They've got a good position. quite a favorable spot
Yeah.
to be in. So they're going to have to try and defend that position from whoever else kind of dares venture up towards them.
Yeah. Once again, phenomenal gameplay by Eagle over here. One more did not see that Elam coming. They were caught off guard, which they shouldn't have. I mean, Eagle was on the hill. They knew they were behind him. I don't know if they forgot. Just looking ahead. But yeah, caught him off guard, and that's looking good for them at the moment. Also, just moving over to Hazim over here. What number 3? They have the entire southern west side of the border for themselves, and the zone will be making its way in. I think there's about 10 seconds remaining. And, you know, that might just be a difficult job for Hazim and his teammates over here to get inside, because ahead of him lies one more, lies Rebels Rage. He's looking straight towards at LUSAIL as well. They are once again on the other side, so they might just find themselves in a bit of a pickle over here. They have 4 elims to their name. That's looking good for them. But let's see if they can get themselves in a spot where they can pick up those double digits for placement.
Yeah, I mean, only time will tell where exactly it is that they are going to be looking to move up towards. But again, a lot of due diligence being done here by the players of Code 12. So you can see Hazem just keeping a very watchful eye. In fact, like pretty much the rest of the team also just situated up behind them. They do have a great angle on towards Boyka, but I'm afraid if Hazem takes the shot right here, they are going to be hitting that rocket. Of course, there's no chance even for that, as Wanted steps up, laying down a beautiful bit of spray there on towards Hazem, gets that knock on in, and now it's going to be the opportunity for the rest of the team here from Kurt 12 to come back swinging, as they no longer have the element of surprise working out in their favor. Of course, the players here from LUSAIL still keeping a very watchful eye on them, and we've got a few developments coming through as well, right? We've got the players here from CRYPTICS also keeping a very watchful eye on VENOMY, but for now, it's going to be Boyka looking to focus in on towards the players just ahead of them there. Kurt 12 definitely in need of an improved performance here. Maybe this could be the play exactly for them, but a quick dash, quick reposition coming through there from Muhammad, looking to regroup back with the rest of the team. But I'm liking this approach coming in from LUSAIL, starting to spread themselves out, really looking to play out the terrain here instead of just staying stationary for too long.
Yep, I'm surprised they do got a vehicle, and they should basically capitalize on that, get themselves into the zone. The next zone has been decided. It's quite small. It's already jam-packed. So there's maybe a little bit of space over there, a vacancy, I would say, on the west. Nobody's taking it, but I mean, they have vehicles, so they are a little bit okay. I'm just comparing themselves to, I mean, we were watching Kurt 12, Kurt 12. In a sticky situation, having to go through still one more. They still have to pass Rebels Rage as well. So this is the right move now. Just trying to push slowly but surely into the next zone. Stay in cover as well. Excellent gameplay by them.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point really for teams to try and, you know, force any of those rotations. You know, it is going to be quite a challenging play to be making. And speaking about things being challenging, we've got the players here from Rebel Rage now finding themselves in quite the predicament, as they are getting rushed by none other than Code 12, moving in right towards them. And this is what we love to see, teams looking to dial up the aggression, looking to come in with those plays. But also, they got to be cautious because we still have 13 teams remaining. Yes, we are situated in that 4th phase, about to be over in the 5th phase. But this is where things get super tricky. Sanok, definitely be a map on which you can get punished for any of those, even the most minute, you know, missed positions. That could be quite detrimental coming through for your team here. But of course, we see the players from LUSAIL also still to make their dash in towards that zone. Don't have a clear run, at least for now, but they are going to be opting to bring in a little bit of that play as well. We also have the players then from the side there of Darkness, keeping a very watchful eye, coming in from their own position here over on towards that western side. We've got the CRYPTICS positioned right up alongside them. And of course now, I mean, the players from Rebels Rage, down to 2 they go. We've got LUSAIL right here alongside them, but also positioned up in towards the zone. So the team's now definitely getting put right in the oven as they find quite a lot of pressure. I mean, even Salam feeling the heat as they now get lit up by that molly that he just had being sent on through. But it is going to be a quick response, as we can see. Chico not being so fortunate.
Yep, good call there on taking his teammate with him over here, Salam. Hey, because I mean they needed to get into the zone. One of his teammates is still out in the blue. He needs to get in as fast as he can. Everybody getting taken out. We're seeing knocks happening all over the map. Tornado just firing in now on ZL Chopper in front of you. Oh, he gets the knock. This is looking good for Darkness. He gets another one, taking the elimination immediately. Tornado doing really well for Darkness, all by himself, mind you. He does need to watch out up ahead, though. He has Team Forces slowly but surely making their way. They heard the gunshots. A couple of shots coming in from Sony as well. Tornado getting nearly knocked there. Back to the first aid kit once more again, and it looks like he's trapped over here, DK.
Yeah, it's a
looks like he's
really
trapped.
difficult spot to be playing from. But fortunately, I mean, they still have another teammate left. We still have Chrono, also just positioned a little bit further up ahead. Not quite sure where Farok is. It does seem like Farok is positioned out in the blue, so it is going to be a very risky play coming through there, at least for them. But now it is going to be up to, you know, the final remaining players for the side of Darkness to kind of bring this play together. CRYPTICS, of course, now positioned up on the high ground, looking to rain down some terror. Beautiful spray coming in here from Marshall, finding quite a bit of damage on towards Chrono. But with that, Chrono gets taken right on down, or rather Chronoob, whichever way around you want to pronounce that. But a beautiful play coming in here. Senke also just looking to, you know, bring in a little bit of that support on towards Mr. Marshall up ahead. Of course, the players there from the Hunters now looking a little bit worse for wear as they trying to come in with a bit of a back and forth, but it is going to be RTG applying a lot of pressure, picking up trade after trade on at their expense. As you can see, Unext now, both of the Unexts holding on. It is going to be Unext that gets taken on down, and Unext 16 now out in the edge, holding up in towards that quarry position. In fact, several players now just occupying the positions out in the blue zone, as we can see that spread coming through Tornado, as well as for Rock there for Darkness. We got, you know, Pixie from One More getting taken down. Jamaica also positioned up ahead, as we can see, not only on the screen, but also on the map, just trying to ride out that blue storm. But it's all going to come down to where these teams can get themselves into, right? I'm not expecting anything really to come through for the teams positioned out in the blue, but however, it could be an entirely different situation, a different play for the teams situated up in towards the playable area. I mean, even Hello here from RTG also now just trying to bring in that heal strat, and I do think this is where we're going to be seeing a lot of players meeting their demise.
Yep, exact same what happened yesterday. I'm sorry, 2 days ago, the previous match here on Senok. A couple of players opting for the blue zone healing game, and yeah, obviously doesn't work out right. I mean, we saw someone come into third place, I believe it was, just healing all the way. I mean, don't see we're starting to see a lot more of that type of gameplay. Players realizing that they can just take advantage of while the rest of the team are in. I mean, we're looking at Darkness over here. Ooh,
yeah,
got a bit of a. Oh, there we go, Nasser.
Yeah, NASA coming in with a little bit of a sting.
Knock.
Yeah, they're from the Kurt 12 Devils. Of course, now the players here from SWAT also looking to bring in a little bit of that heal strat. And I mean, yes, we sometimes see that heal strat being employed by these teams, but look at this now. It's going to be Sony looking to pick up a quick trade there. Finding a Chico from LUSAIL. Now looking to just secure their position coming into the zone. I mean, the players here from Forces looking absolutely phenomenal. Still pitching up with a full squad. They've got 4 players left. Zane still to catch up, trying to get ahead of that blue zone closure. We see CRYPTICS also now just positioned on the side. Darkness still in contention, still going to be trying to get themselves a little bit better situated. But I mean, looking at the players coming through here from the Code 12 Devils, right, they are looking absolutely phenomenal as well. Up comes XX now, just inching their way up to alongside them. The shots come through. Beautiful retaliation there as XX finds an absolutely beautiful spray, quickly dealing with the threat coming in. Now as we turn on towards NASA, we can see NASA now just trying to get a bit of a lay of the land. Spots Ramona, picks up the trade, and this is the opportunity now for the players here from the Kurt 12 Devils to just reign supreme and just absolutely obliterate whoever is situated up ahead of them. Of course, Sony from the players here of Team Forces, they also want to be in contention, coming in with some good numbers. They've lost Zane obviously in the trade-off, but now 6 eliminations to their name could still be an absolutely beautiful run to make.
Every team that's been made, well, that's made it this far, couple of good eliminations to their name. They're doing really well, especially the good 12 Devils here. They are dominating the end zone on Sanok. Oh my god, here we go. It is Rio who does have two guys on top of him. Let's see if he can deal with him as well as he did with him before. He pulls back and he gets shot in his back. Not a good way to go. Looks like it is Nasser trying to cover for him though. Can he provide that cover that he's looking for? He's outside of the blue. He's been spotted by XX over there. Going to be a tough one. XX does eventually get knocked. Ryu gets taken back, and it's Sony that gets him wanted. It's the Elam on XX on the other side. So Nasser has a little bit of a difficult situation. All of his teammates has been taken out just like that. I thought it was looking good for them. Either way, couple of knocks. On the other side, it is Boyka this time that gets knocked, as well as Jamaica from one more that dies to their play zone eventually. Here comes the nade.
We're seeing a lot of that come through now, but of course Nasser still trying to reach across on towards the players here from Team Forces. Blue Zone is not going to be sitting back waiting for anyone. We are in the 8th phase, so there's going to be a lot of pressure now on these teams to try and get in a successful run. As we can see, Nasser, unfortunately, getting taken right on down. But now it comes down to where these teams are going to be looking to push in towards several players now. As we know, out in that blue zone, not a lot of options for them really to bring on through.
Wow.
But we do see that blue zone now closing up once again. It is going to be LUSAIL now from Wanted. Position up in zone, going toe-to-toe with the players here from Forces. Oh, here we are. It is Shams now just up ahead of Wanted. Oh, beautiful spray coming in there from Wanted. We can see Sony now getting up, trying to inspect what's going on. But unfortunately, LUSAIL make their way right back into the lobby. It is going to be Sony coming in with a very dominating presence up in towards that zone. We still have 6 teams remaining, right? So many players still to get themselves back in towards the zone. So we got Zeus here from Virtual Gaming, also now quickly trying to just run through all those meds. We got Farouk from Darkness sitting on 5, Zeus sitting on 8, Shams now getting sent back. It is Sony getting traded off. Back they go, and with that, it is going to be the end of the road as the winner chicken dinner goes over to Virtual Gaming, picking up an absolutely glorious finish. 2 eliminations only, but, you know, it is still a great finish nonetheless. Of course, the players there from Rebels Rage getting sent back in 2nd place. Of course, SWAT finishing up in 3rd, Darkness up in 4th place, and then the players coming through from, Team Forces with a very surprising 5th place, right? They were, I thought this was their match to win because they had the position. And, it seems like that's not necessarily the case, right? I mean, it shows you players coming out from that blue zone can still be hella contentious.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that shots coming out from a distance, and that literally just ended the match over there. We thought they were going to get the chicken dinner, but yeah, the upset came through.
Yeah, and quite a big upset indeed. Of course, as we move a little bit further down, we can see RTG, we've got LUSAIL, we've got the Code 12 Devils, we've got one more, as well as the players there from the Hunters. We've got CRYPTICS, again, in a very surprising finish. VENOMY taking 12. We've got the players there from Code 12 up in 13th. We've got the Arab Golden finishing in 14th. And then, of course, the players there from AKM being the first team to get sent away. Our stars of the match are going to be Sony from Team Forces, finding the most eliminations. And of course, it is going to be ProBucks as well from Rebels Rage, being the best companion, and of course, none other than the Blue Zone to come in, dealing that final blow. So a very, very surprising finish coming into that match. But of course, once again, some very satisfying PUBG action coming through for these teams. Sanok, definitely not disappointing. Blue Zone doing its thing as it always does. But that's the beauty of it, right? That's why we like Sanok so much. But of course, that also then means that we only have one more match to go. That means our last match is going to be heading right over back on towards Erangel. So be sure to stay tuned. Let us know in the chat which teams you are here to support. And we'll be right back after the break with our overall standings as well as that final match of the day. So see you guys back in a short few minutes. What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're getting ready to hop into the action on our final match right here on the Northern Region qualifiers. It is going to be the final match to see which three teams will be progressing through in towards those continental finals. Now, as we know, there's also a little bit of that prize money up for stakes here, or up for grabs, or, however you want to phrase that. So once again, we are going to be taking a quick look at the overall standings of these teams. And again, we're going to be starting it off on that second page. So the players from Arab Golden sitting on 4 points. And at least we do have the rest of the team sitting on double digits. We got VENOMY on 10. And as we move up the list, we can see the players there from SWAT MOROCCO also finding themselves up on 16 points, just 1 point ahead of the players there from the Hunters. But of course, the second page, all good and dandy. But we're going to be turning all our focus on towards this first page, as we know that only the top three teams will be progressing through onto the next phase, but also only the top three teams will be walking away with that money, that prize pool. So, this is where our interest lies. And of course, we can see the players there from Virtual Gaming already sitting with 2 winner chicken dinners and 52 points in total. One more hot on their heels. They're with 44, so only 8 points away. And of course, Darkness on 42, so 10 points behind. But then we get a little bit of a break off coming through there. Again, 8 points a little bit further down. We do see the players there from RTG, as well as the players there from Team Forces, 4 points behind RTG. So, it is going to be a very much neck-and-neck performance. So, I'm going to be looking at, our top 6 teams to see which three teams out of the top 6 will be the teams to bring in enough to get themselves a secured third place, or finish at least in those top 3 positions.
Indeed, still a little bit of leeway for these teams to work their way through from 4 right through to 6. RTGs, but we know they can do it. We saw a brilliant performance from them in game number 1, and it's back to Irangle for them. So maybe they can just do exactly what they did in game number 1, and that is get some elims to their name and get into that top 3 positions. That should get them into the top 3. And also, it's a little bit too out of reach there for the guys with the 19 and below points. I don't think they will make it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a really tough run. So, if you're being realistic about it, it is going to take quite a bit of work for these teams to get themselves secured into those positions. So that's what I'm saying. I'm expecting at least the top 6 teams to bring in a very, very contentious kind of performance. But again, the teams situated a little bit further down from that, right? They are still in a beautiful setup where they have a lot of power, because they can decide which of the teams sitting at the higher end of that log will be moving through. Who are they going to give their eliminations to, right? We could also see the team situated lower down on that leaderboard, looking to get a little bit more aggressive and potentially, look to sour up a few things along the way. So there's many different approaches that these teams can look to take. And of course, speaking about the approaches, we've got a very centered flight path coming in here as well. As we can see, it's starting very close to Zaki, up in towards the northwestern side, and of course, heading over towards the southeastern side, ending off out in the water. So again, opening up a lot of great opportunities positional wise for these teams to move into. So a lot of them should be rather satisfied with that, as they are, able to reach pretty much where it is that they would be looking to go. But of course, with the zone now being centered up on towards that northeastern side rather, it is going to bring somewhat of an impact with regards to those later eliminations having to then come through from these teams.
Yes, indeed. I like the way that the playing flight came through this time. A lot more equality once again here on Irangle at the end on the final game. So you can't complain about that playing flight. No team can, as we do. We have a knock actually coming through, and that's Darkness looking really well, getting the first knock on the of the day here on Irangle. Excellent by them.
Yeah, hopping straight into that smack dab center zone position. And of course, it is going to be the teams now looking to see if they can bring out any additional performances. We do have a little bit of that hot drop action over in towards Malta, as well as over towards that shelter position, but also over on towards that Sosnovka military island. So several points of contention coming through here once again. We already did see that first elimination coming through from the Hunters on the feed. But now, will they be able to replicate that? Meanwhile, there's going to be the players here from Code 12 also going to be looking to see if they can make any magic happen over in towards this Malta position. They do have a little bit of heat coming through right up behind them. But of course, the same can be said all the way over in towards that Sosnovka military base itself as well, right? We got the players from Arab Golden just looking to make their way on through. So as you can see, we do have Muhammad up ahead getting taken right on down. We got Ilyas also then on the opposite side there for Arab Golden going through the bases, looking to see if they can find anything and potentially maybe get, you know, some good loot before looking to bounce back. They are also facing off against the players there from Team Forces. Meanwhile, Kurt 12 just going to be holding their ground, holding their position, looking to see if they can potentially maybe find an angle on towards the players coming through here from SWAT. But I mean, looking at SWAT's position as well, a beautiful spread coming in, right? They've got 3 players right up in the front. And of course, having a little bit of that off-angle position coming through there from Frost. So this could be actually quite a favorable angle to take. A very similar kind of play being made here by the players from Kurt 12 as well. As we can see up on that mini-map, 2 players up north, 1 player down towards the south. So it's good to have a little bit of that separation in. But essentially, at some point, the teams will have to look to try and condense that play instead of, you know, keeping the separation the way it is.
Yep, and they would definitely stick like that because, I mean, they only have 3 points between each other now. There we go, the shots coming into Natsu, and Natsu this time is the one that gets knocked as well as his teammate on the other side. It is Frost, and that's what you were talking about, the split coming through there by Kurt 12, just playing or getting two. It's a matter of time, but they got the thirst as well on Frost, missed that one, but Rugal also now, he gets knocked. 12, he's on fire right now at the moment. DK Cycles and is trying to find his way sneakily in there as Itas now gets the elimination on Natsu. Things not looking too good for SWAT. Looking like they are going to be left behind here in game number 4 with Psycho just trying to escape with what was happening over the older madness, leaving his teammates behind.
But unfortunately, right, as we can see, the players there from Code 12 keeping their eyes peeled on the action and spotting those players coming through there. And unfortunately, Psycho was not able to get a successful run. I mean, we did see Psycho trying to put a little bit of distance in between themselves and that push coming through from Kurt 12. But again, this is the kind of play that we wanted to see from Kurt 12 for majority of these games, right? This is kind of the approach that I was expecting to see come through from Kurt 12. But, you know, better late than never, right? So at least they are stepping up back into the form that you kind of know them for. But speaking about that, it is also now going to be the players here from Team Forces going up against the Arab Golden players. We can see situated just up in front of them. We did have a little bit of a knockety-knock-knock come in on either side, but nothing too crazy just yet. It is Zane now, keeping a very watchful eye there on towards Whisper with the addition of XX, also just holding off on a little bit of an off-angle approach here. But again, looking at the spreads coming through from all these players, Whisper now getting spotted. Sin still keeping the position, not going to be looking to budge just yet. But I'm curious to see how the players here from Arab Golden are going to be looking to play this one, because looking at, you know, Team Force's position, you know, it looks a little bit better, right? Because we got Shams up on the high ground, we got Sodi and the rest of the team spread out up ahead of them. So they are definitely looking at making it super challenging for Arab Golden to get into good position. I mean, speaking about challenging positions, right? Sin managing to move all the way up on towards the silo dome. I mean, that is quite a challenging position to get yourself perched on.
Super challenging, and I don't know what's going on over here if I'm looking at the positioning of the boys from Arab Golden. But either way, I do believe that this is going to have to go Team Forces way. They still find themselves in contention to get themselves into the top 3. They're not in the top 3 at the moment, but they are there, so they need to get this elimination to the name. They've already got Whisper. They need to hunt down. That's the role that they need to play if they want to find themselves in the top 3. They got to be pushing a little bit more. They've got a good position, like you say. I mean, finding themselves with. I'm looking at Shams on the opposite side. He has high ground, spotting the enemies. Maybe being a little bit more proactive in this game, in game number 4. A little bit too early, but you know, we would like to see some more action coming from them. We want to see them get into that top 3 slip in there.
Yeah, but of course they also want to try and finish as you know, as well off as they possibly can. So they definitely not going to be looking to put themselves in any you know, less favorable kind of positions. They are going to try and play it potentially a little bit more on the calculated end of things. So I'm expecting a little bit more of that decisiveness coming through at least from the Arab Golden players here, as we can see they're now starting to make a little bit of rotation heading down south, which does seem a little bit counterintuitive, but of course they are trying to get themselves well away from the threats that they do face if they were opting for a little bit more of that northern rotation. Speaking about northern rotations, we do see the players here from CRYPTICS also now just heading further up towards that kind of northern region. Instead of trying to push through that kind of Rozhok Watertown angle that we did see Senke approaching, it does seem like, you know, they've kind of changed their approach and instead looking to try and play it more along those northern angles. But again, a lot of potential plays that still could be made here, as the teams still have a lot of options to choose from with regards to where they want to settle in moving in towards this next phase. But, you know, they're running out of time. We can see Blue Zone starting to close on through. Second phase is about to be up upon us. But fortunately for the teams, it's only second phase. So the Blue Zone not going to be it's not going to be too detrimental to them. So they can actually afford to play it out a little while longer. But of course, speaking about teams looking to play it out a little while longer, we are going to be seeing the players there from Darkness and the Hunters now getting up in relatively close proximity to each other. We did have Rollin exploring their options a little bit more with next to you finding someone next to them. But unfortunately for Hunters, you know, Rollin decided to instead rather, you know, try the options a little bit further on towards that western side. So for the time being, they can just look to hold on to their compound as they do find themselves, you know, relatively well set up. It is, you know, quite centered in towards the zone. But the same can, of course, be said for the players there for the side of Darkness, right? So this is where the contention is going to come in. The team's definitely having to try and keep their defenses up, as we can see Bloody now also coming under fire, as we do have Moha 13 rather, just repositioning themselves, getting back into some potential reinforcements as the team here from Virtual Gaming now look to get out on the aggressive front.
Yeah, and it's quite surprising. I mean, Virtual Gaming, they're on top of the leaderboard and they are still hunting. They're saying we can still do better. We can still get a couple of elims. Getting 2 here from the Hunters. Well played by them, but it is Mohal that's trying just to defend this spot. They had the better position, but just couldn't hold it with Bloody and Unix as well. Mahal getting his nades out, just making sure that he can, or trying to keep them, but Unix does get knocked, and that puts them on the bottom foot now. Mahal just going to lay that molly up head so that they can't get in, but we got nades that's going to make their way up, and eventually it is Mahal that gets taken out. And there we go, 4 eliminations in the name, and that's going to push the gap in even further for Virtual Gaming.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful play, and of course we can see on that map, right, we do see a few more teams still having to make that long trek all the way down from the southern edge, but we do see the players there from CRYPTICS also now just looking to apply a little bit of that pressure on towards the team coming in from the side there of the players from VENOMY. So quite excited to see what could potentially be happening there. But of course, Ramona not going to be letting us get into anything as they already start hammering away as the players there from the Kurt 12 Devils start exploring their own options moving through this phase. We do have a beautiful convergence now coming through on towards the players there from RTG as well that have a little bit of a threat to try and deal with. It is going to be the players there from Rebels Rage coming on through. It is going to see Yaya now getting taken right on down as those first few blows are dealt on towards them. Up comes Hello, just looking to fortify at least that front door, keeping a very watchful eye, but they're going to be cautious. As we can see, the players here from Kurt 12 also moving in right behind them. So several difficult decisions that need to be made here, at least on the front of RTG, right? Because they find themselves in a little bit of a sandwich with two teams, well, a team rather, on either side. And of course, speaking about sandwiches, we are seeing a little bit more of that kind of development coming through as the teams continue to advance further in towards this phase. We do see the players there from the side of CRYPTICS as well, also now in a bit of a decision-making spot, right? They got to decide, are they going to be looking to push a little bit further on towards that southern position, or are they going to be satisfied with trying to fortify this? Because they have the team from VENOMY situated just up ahead of them. We do have El Chapo now starting to explore the options there. It does seem like RTG also are going to be sticking to their position, at least for the time being, while the players here from CRYPTICS now just test the waters. We did see El Chapo take a few hits, trying to explore the region. Marshall now coming in with a little bit of that retaliation, looking to keep the pressure on and not letting the players there from, VENOMY get a clear point to play from. We do have Norda also getting taken right on down, and up comes that rush now as CRYPTICS look to tighten their grip on this position here. Up comes LUSAIL as well, looking for a little bit of a trade there, coming in with a beautiful play. Oh, nice angles being pushed in here. Of course, now it is going to be that opportunity for the CRYPTICS now to try and get a clean sweep. It is going to be the final remaining hopeful. It will be the player there, LXRSI, to contend against them. Up comes the rush, up comes the sprays, and with that, the CRYPTICS now just sweep the floor, picking up that beautiful squad wipe, and with that, putting them on a very comfortable 4 eliminations to their name. Meanwhile, the players there from RTG still in quite a bit of a pressure spot, right? We got the Code 12 now reaching across. We got Yaya getting traded on down. We do see Shetels there from Code 12 also on the approach. Narcos also still up in the compound. Not going to be wandering outside just yet. We got Mons now looking to bring in that quick raise. RTG in a very tough spot, right? I mean, they are encircled. And of course, they have to try and make a decision, right? Are they going to look to reposition, or will they be satisfied with the current position they find themselves in?
Yeah, well, for the moment, they're going to just have to be satisfied, find themselves sitting tight over here because there is no escape from where they found themselves. This is one of those traps on your angle, I would say. If you got to get in and out in the situation, but unfortunately, it was not up for grabs for them because they had two OP teams just holding them inside over there, and it is RTG we're speaking about. They find themselves fourth on the log at the moment, so they can't make any silly decisions. So maybe just sitting tight for now for as long as they can would be the best choice, which is exactly what RTG is trying to do at the moment.
Yeah, we do see Petrox there from Code 12 also just inching their way a little bit further forward, just keeping the pressure up, looking to maybe spoil the day here of Hello. But not quite sure how far RTG is actually going to be looking to push. We do have the players there from Rebels Rage also just holding on, right? Also not advancing into any direction just yet. And I do think this is maybe in anticipation of waiting to see where this next phase could be taking the teams and how far they will have to rotate. As we can see, blue zone closure coming on through. We do see one of the players there now from Arab Golden getting traded on down. But again, a little bit of an exploratory mission coming in. Unfortunately, their scout getting taken on down. It's now up to Sin and Ban, the final two hopefuls. We can see down on that southern side, right next to Prison. And of course, we have the players there from Team Forces also occupying that region. Meanwhile, I mean, looking back on what we've got happening here between RTG and the rest of the teams surrounding them, we can see Code 12 starting to find a few hits in their direction. Also, we see the players there from CRYPTICS now looking to explore their own options as they are getting a little bit more aggressive onto the players coming through from the side there of Darkness. So we do have that rush now coming up in towards the building with the players here from Darkness now just trying to fend off any of those advances. We've got the Crow Noob now just holding the position up in Alamo, looking to see if they can find anything happening across the way. We can see CRYPTICS now on the approach, El Chapo, Senke, Lazy Boy. But it seems like they've decided to disengage instead of pushing further forward, looking to play it a little bit more on the daring side. They've instead gone for a little bit more of a calculated approach, instead looking to get themselves focused on their positionings further up in it towards that phase. You can see a few teams already positioned up ahead. We've got Virtual, we've got CRYPTICS, we've got the players there from Code 12 Devils, as well as the players there from Code 12 themselves, all now just rolling on through in towards the zone. But again, very challenging plays and some really tough decisions that these teams have to make. RTG now looking for a bit of an opening there, as we can see Kronoob now just welcoming Hello on through as they start with a bit of a potential play. But a good call being made there by RTG now, instead turning their focus to try and rotate along that western side. As we can see on the map, is going to be players now for Rebels Rage also looking to apply a little bit of that pressure on towards them. CRYPTICS also having a little bit of a tough position to play there, right on towards Mansion itself. And I mean, Mansion is going to be a very difficult position to defend, looking at the number of teams we still have remaining.
Wow, so many, 11 in total, DK, and it's coming through from every angle over here. But we are watching Darkness. Our eyes are on them as they are trying to get a good position, but it looks like it's going to be a tough one. We do have the guys from SAEF, that would be Team Forces. They're making their way down south. They're just trying to hold that spot over there as Darkness are. They are struggling to find a nice spot where they can have an angle. Maybe it's just get some third parting, but there's no buildings to work with for them. So they're going to have to stay down low, stay within cover, use their vehicles at least, and it's not going to look too good for them. It's going to be a difficult job for the boys of the Dark over here.
Yeah, we did see the players there from Arab Golden also now getting eliminated. And up comes XX now just peeking across, trying to see if they can find a good angle to play on towards Darkness. RTG, of course, now setting up that demise of the players for the Arab Golden squad. But now, RTG still in a little bit of a tricky spot, right? They still have to try and secure themselves a rotational path to get up in towards the zone. Hello being the first one to make that dash, looking to see if they can find a good position to call home, but coming under fire. As players there from Team Forces now welcome them in with open barrels. Darkness just up ahead. Hello quickly just yeeting themselves out of the vehicle, but up comes the spray down as Kurt12. They've been waiting in anticipation to see if anyone's going to dare venture up. Narco's trying to make a bit of a play here, also now getting taken on down. It is up to Mons, who is able to clear out the compound at least for now, but the pressure is still on. We've still got so many teams hold up in the vicinity. We can see the players there from Kurt12 coming up. Up comes Hazem, looking for a bit of an opening. Will they find it up on towards Mons? Mons now having to abandon that Reyes, instead looking to focus back onto getting themselves a little bit better situated. Out comes the mollies, but it's not going to be enough, as it is going to be absolute devastation there. Shetos now just reaches across and puts an end to their run coming into this final match.
Wow, RTG are going to be so disappointed. That might just be a dampen on their spirits. They might not make top 3 with that performance, but either way, let's have a look at Kurt12 over there, as well as Darkness making their way. Still trying to get into the next zone once again, as the next zone has been decided. A couple of shots coming in straight towards Alan and his teammates over there, as they are moving straight towards another enemy, which is going to be CRYPTICS, I believe. They are in cover. They do find themselves in safety. Let's see how... Shots coming in, Relen just making it out of danger just by the hair on my chinny chin chin here. Oh, but the molly comes in. I've spoken too fast over there.
Yeah.
Tornado survives it though.
Yeah, a little bit of the curse, a caster curse coming through right there, but now all the hope for Darkness turns on towards Tornado, as you said, right? They are finding themselves right here alongside CRYPTICS. We do see Senke positioned just up above them, actually just towards that southern side. But of course, you also got to keep a watchful eye on the players here from Virtual, who are also looking to find a bit of an opening. Marshall now just manning the staircase, looking to defend it. We got Senke, as I mentioned before, also just right there on the side. So a beautiful play coming through here. But with that, it is going to be Marshall to find an absolutely beautiful nade on towards ProNoob. The rest looking to close it up, and with that, it is going to be the end of the road. Senke and Marshall swiftly dealing with the threats, getting sent their way, but they're not out of the oven just yet, right? We got the players here from Team Forces now on the approach, pushing in from that eastern side rather, and down south we can see the players here from Kurt12 trying to defend their own position. They're going to try and deal with Rebel's Rage, looking to push in, looking to contest for that position. I mean, even the players here from the Kurt12 Devils, who we can see just held up ahead. Also, not the easiest position to try and play here. We got Doc now playing a little bit of that knock-knock game with the trees, bumping into one after the other. A little bit of that reinforcement now getting put forward. We see Morbid trying to hold up the angles as well. Raxter, not quite sure where Raxter is currently positioned. Well, Raxter right here alongside the rest of the team. The players from Virtual trying to defend their little slice of this hill. Not quite sure whether or not they'll be able to succeed. We got Alpha Luigi and the rest of the crew just trying to spread themselves out, trying to put up a good aggressive approach here. But still, I mean, 6 teams remain, 18 players. That brings us to an average of about 3 players apiece. Not quite sure whether or not, you know, any teams will really be able to capitalize on that.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been following the leaderboard, the picture's kind of getting painted now, slowly but surely. I mean, OP gameplay coming through by CRYPTICS over here. A little bit too late, though. It's almost seen the double figures, 8 eliminations to the name. Can they get into the top 3 for the double figure hauls when it comes to the placement points? But that might just not be enough. I mean, a little bit too late there for them. But these are the boys. I mean, you wouldn't just a moment now on the guys from Virtual Gaming. they are holding it down throughout the entire E angle. I mean, it looks like this is the map. Also, Rebels Rage, we saw them take out Kurt 12. They just had one more player to deal with. Hazim managed to get himself out of that situation that he found himself, but he's now out of the zone. And it's Rebel Rage all the way over here now as they are fighting in on Sony, also trying to make life difficult. They are in the zone over here. If we're looking also outside in the scope of who would that be? That's Team Forces up ahead here. Look, I think they're looking quite good here on this side, though.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking good, but they still,
like
they still got to like try and be quite the formidable force to push in, right? Yes, they still have 4 players left.
Yeah.
The same can be said, of course, for the players there from Rebels Rage as well as Virtual Gaming, right? So we get 3 teams still sitting on a full squad either side. But it's going to be a very demanding play that needs to be made by these teams, right? Because as we know, well, I just messed up the map view there. Absolutely fantastic job, DK. Well done, well done. There we go, found it again. As we move in to look what this kind of zone is leaving to the players. As we can see, there's definitely not a lot of options for these teams really to try and play for here. But, I mean, still, the players from the side here of Team Forces, they are going to be looking to potentially close up this eastern side. But first, they've got to go through the position that is being held by the players here of Rebels Rage. You can see Quality. Beautiful high ground angle to be holding here, just utilizing the heck out of that roof. But we see now on the opposite end, the players there from Virtual actually starting to, you know, apply a little bit of that aggression, looking to kind of clear up that western side before strengthening their you know, their options.
Yeah, it looks like it was said, it's time, boys, let's go. It's time to finish up the zone as they make their way forward slowly. But also cautiously. This is every player over here. We can see them making their way into the zone because they do need to keep in mind that there's still 5 teams in total here. And if you're going to get caught, God, you will get eliminated immediately because there's so much openings, so much angles to work with. And all 5 teams just holding it down to the very end over here. We're just waiting for the next zone. Probably, and that will be the decider for, there we go, for majority of the team over here as it falls on as well as a Rebel Rage. A little bit of virtual gaming, they can move into that, but it's going to be most difficult for K12 Devils now as a Raxter getting knocked, as well as Zane getting another knock up ahead. That will make it difficult for Rebel Rage now. They do need to get the revive back on. They are just on the edge of the zone though, so they do have some time to work with here. Zane also with his teammate. Ooh, it's a long way forward over here. Virtual Gaming is going to keep an eye on him. They've heard the shots coming in.
Yeah, they definitely heard those shots now. Yeah, it's down to looking to see what these teams are going to be bringing in. We got Team Forces still held up outside that zone, not finding a good secure approach in just yet. But also Virtual trying to play it up on towards the northern side. Still 5 teams riding it out, looking to see who will be those teams able to secure themselves a good position here. But I'm liking the position being held here by CRYPTICS. Even look at Zeus, right? Just tapping away, finding that opportunity up in and towards Mansion itself. And this is what makes it so challenging is, yes, there are compounds up in towards Mansion, but I mean, they are so closely grouped together that you can't really reach all the way across. Instead, we do see Zeus now turning the attention on towards the final player there from Kurt 12 Devils. Meanwhile, we got Alpha Luigi on the opposite end getting down. It is Marshall and Senke still holding on to the compound up in center zone. Beautiful setup coming out here in favor of the players from CRYPTICS. We do see the players now coming in from Rebels Rage, looking to just expand their reach here, trying to pick up a few more of those eliminations, looking to break in a few more of those elims. But look at this, Escanor now just out in the window, looking down on towards Virtual. Virtual now in an absolute troubling position as CRYPTICS are also turning their attention because see Senke sitting that molly out, trying to reach across. Alpha Luigi does get picked up by that molly, as does Yafoz. And now, oh, this is absolute carnage at the hand of CRYPTICS now, just applying so much pressure on towards Virtual. Marshall sends out one as well, picking up a confirmation and a knock along the way. Now, this is going to be CRYPTICS' game to try and lock it on in. Escanor looking to come up the side here, looking to contest against Marshall, not wanting them to hold on to that compound, but Marshall lays it down. Escanor getting traded right on up. Up comes the push now, as we can see Marshall not wasting any time looking for that opening. see whether or not they'll be able to close it up. Escanor, Eagle, the two players left to try and defend their position here. Marshall quickly taking a pit stop. Up comes the jump shot, and it's going to be the end of the road there as Eagle comes soaring on through, picking up an absolutely amazing run. But of course, we can see Virtual Gaming down to Zeus. Virtual sitting on 12 eliminations. It is going to be a 1v3 play. It will be Probox, it will be Eagle, and it will be Escanor looking to close this one out. Zeus now just looking to see if they can find a good approach. That blue zone about to start closing up as well. But it does seem like the players here from Rebels Rage are not going to be sitting around waiting for anything to come to them. Instead, they are going to go out looking to close it up. They want that winner chicken dinner as quickly and as early as they can find it. Zeus now in between a rock and a hard place, and that of course means that they get sent right away into the lobby. It's going to be the end of the road as the players there from Rebels Rage pick up that winner chicken dinner. 8 eliminations to the name. Of course, the players there from Virtual Gaming coming in with an absolutely phenomenal performance. 12 eliminations in second place. CRYPTICS also finishing off on a really strong footing there, as we can see, taking that third position, coming in with a grand total of 11 eliminations. The players there from Team Forces taking fourth place with 4 elims. We've got the players then from the Code 12 Devils up in fifth with 2. We got Code 12 finishing in sixth place with 8. Then, of course, as we move a little bit further on down, we've got the players there from Darkness up in 7th. We've got the one more team taking that 8th position, finishing with, well, 1 more elimination. So well done to Jamaica there. Of course, the players there from RTG up in 9th place. We got AKM taking 10th. We got the players then from Arab Golden up in towards 11th place. VENOMY up in 12th. We got Hunters in 13th. And, of course, the players there from SWAT finishing up in 14th position. Our stars of the match will be none other than Zeus from Virtual Gaming, being our MVP with the absolute insane amount of eliminations, coming in with 8 as an individual. Absolutely phenomenal play, of course, being the best companion as well. And then we got Eagle Caster, the player, to land the final blow to wrap it up. And with that rather than sending us to the end of our games here today. But again, Vector, some really, really amazing plays being brought in by these teams. And what a great play. Great play, rather, that was from Virtual to finish on such a strong footing, even though, yes, they got only second place. I mean, as still an absolutely phenomenal run, locking in those 12 eliminations.
Yeah, indeed. They've just shown that who dominates the north side of Africa, DK. And it's, for me, it's VG all the way tonight. Well done to the boys also. From, Rebel Rage also. Nonetheless, 8 elims to the name.
Yeah.
Trying to get disappointed by the boys from CRYPTICS, but no, they dealt with it perfectly at the end, and also we're getting them the chicken dinner. Not sure how it's going to affect the leaderboard. We'll see in a couple of moments. But yeah, what an awesome finish that was.
Yeah, I mean, a really, really strong play coming through there from them. So, I mean, I do believe the teams are quite satisfied with, well, not quite satisfied, but they are satisfied with how it went, especially looking at this last match's performance. And of course, I mean, you can't discount the performance coming through there from CRYPTICS, right? They took third place, 11 eliminations to their name. Also, an absolutely beautiful run coming in there from them. So, as we did see the teams moving on through in towards those standings, still being in very close contention. And just to remind everyone as to what the point situation was, right? We are going to be hopping into the standings. Now, remember, please pay attention. It says post game 3, not final standings. This is before the last match, right? So this is where we had the teams situated. So Virtual sitting up in pole position on 52 points. We had the players there from One More and Darkness, as well as RTG and Team Forces being hard on their heels. Now, as we know, this last match is going to be the decisive one. This will determine which of these teams will be the ones moving through to the next phase, right? Only 3 teams advance into those continental finals. Now, looking at the performance that we just had, Vector, and looking at the point situation we have currently displayed on screen, who do you think will be those 3 teams to move on through? Okay, just remember, I'm not going to be holding you to this, right? But
well, one team that you can hold me to, it's good. It's of course going to be Virtual Gaming. Let's have a look. One more PUBG Mobile. They tried to amongst all the top 3 teams over here, or the top 5, I would say rather. They went for the more zonal gameplay. It served them well right throughout up until this last game. They might have suffered a bit. Not too sure. I didn't know. I hardly saw them in the kill feed. I'm not sure. Do you remember where they came in that in game number 4, DK?
You gotta ask that one more time.
one more.
No,
one more. How
I
did
know,
they do in game number 4?
One more. Well, I know. I believe they took 4th position with 1 elimination. if I'm
Ah,
not mistaken.
uh,
I remember the one more because I said, one more. Um,
yeah.
but I think it was
Okay, but
that
that,
yeah, I think they secured themselves that fourth position. It was either yeah, I think
yeah,
it was fourth, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have the final standings of the match in front of me
well then,
anymore, unfortunately.
I would say placement points for them then served them well,
Yeah.
yeah, because I mean the first three games, excellent, gets them the 44, as you can see there, guys. But I mean, coming in that position fourth, it doesn't matter with the eliminations, but I think it could get them in the top three. Also, darkness we saw towards the end of game number 4. They were there,
Mm.
uh, but I don't know. I don't know. It's between darkness, RTG. It's going to be a tight one.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because after the first match, RTG had such a strong finish, coming in with those 24 eliminations. So I was actually quite surprised to see
Yeah.
RTG instead now getting relegated down onto that fourth position, at least coming into the third match, right? So, I mean, looking at the teams that we have represented on this first page, I was definitely expecting to see LUSAIL much higher up. The same, of course, can be
Mm,
said there for Kurt 12, as we can see both these teams sitting
yeah.
on 19 points apiece. But even over on towards the second page, right? This is also where things look a little bit different and not the way that we are necessarily accustomed to seeing them kind of play out, right? We've got CRYPTICS also
Indeed.
there sitting on 13 points, which is a little bit odd, right? It feels so weird to say that, but like it's just the way it is. But of course, we are now just
Yeah.
waiting for our final results to come on through so we can share those with you on screen. But again, I mean, I gotta say, a very satisfying performance coming in here from the northern region. It's going to be interesting to see
Yeah.
once all these regions actually meet up with each other out on the battlefield, moving into those continental finals. How all of this is then going to relate to each other, and kind of
Yeah.
what the different metas are going to be bringing on through. I know in general, Africa has kind of its own meta when it comes to
Yeah.
looking at what these teams bring to the field when they step on out. But yeah, I don't know. It could take a bit of a swing in
It's,
either which direction. I mean, even the different
yeah.
territories within Africa itself could also be quite an interesting one. And well, just looking at this at the stream itself, right? Because delay.
Yeah.
Well, one more. They actually took 8th place with one elimination to their name. So, uh, it's
Mm,
not 4th. It was 8th. So, I
it
mean,
was eighth, okay. Ooh, that makes it even more interesting,
hmm
DK. That makes it so much more interesting. Wow.
and Darkness actually
Oh,
finished in 7th place.
seventh place with how many elims?
Uh, at least
Look
2,
at
because
that.
that's what I can see on the stream.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Holy
So
moly. So
so
things are
it's gonna
looking
be
good for
it's
those
gonna be
teams.
pretty hot and spicy looking at this first page to see, where the teams have ended up and what those
Yeah.
final results
Yeah.
are gonna be. I mean, I'm gonna keep it on the results at least for now while we wait for that to come in. So once it's updated, we'll see it appear on the screen, and
Yeah.
that is exactly what will be happening right now. Of course, we are going to be starting with that second page to see exactly what the kind of point situation is, to see where the teams have finished up. So as we hop over on towards the second page, we can see where the players there finished up, where they found themselves. But for some reason, that graphic doesn't want to update itself. So let's try this one again. La 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 la. Probably helps if I save it in the right
Where's the
place, right?
page?
But as we hop straight
Yep.
in towards that, we can see the image being updated. Is it updating? Come on.
Bada
Don't
boom,
be like
bada
this
bing,
now.
bada bang.
All right, let's try and go into the old one, the new one. Is it going to work with me? No, it doesn't want to work. Well, let's try an alternative method to try and get this thing to just do what I want it to do. There we go. All right, so now it's updated. So the players here from AKM team coming in with that 1 point. We got Arab Golden on 5. We
Ooh.
got VENOMY on 11. The Hunters on 15. SWAT on 16. LUSAIL on 19. And of course, then the players there from Kurt 12 Devils coming through with their play up in towards that 9th position. But now becomes the question, right? What do you think? Who do you think are the teams to take those top positions, right? That is just me delaying, so I can actually.
Tune in tomorrow to
Yeah, yeah,
find
yeah,
out.
yeah. Thank you so much, guys. We'll be showing you the results on a later date. No, I'm joking. I'm
No!
joking. we are going to be hopping straight
Imagine.
across on towards that. And it is none
Yeah.
other than Virtual Gaming, Rebel Rage, and Darkness to advance forward. As you can see, Darkness and one more. I mean, they were so close when it came to their performances up to the very end of that play there. As you can see, the teams, I mean, right
Nice.
there, eliminations and placement points being so close to each other.
Nice. Look at that. Rebel Range jumping all the way from 6th to 2nd because of that brilliant gameplay. I mean, that was beautiful what we saw there from them in game number 4. And I mean, mentioning Darkness as well, the jump coming through. Where were they on the previous, on the third? Oh, staying in third, just holding it down, as well as Virtual Gaming holding up. So hats off to these 3 guys. They will be joining Slime 4KT, Sniper, as well as Young Thunder in the finals, representing the northern side of Africa. Beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal stuff coming through there. So a big congrats going out to the players there or the teams rather, who have secured themselves those top 3 slots, advancing in towards the continental finals. It's going to be an absolute blast to see these teams compete once we get into that. Of course, we still have 3 more regions to go through, right? We still have Central, South, and East Africa to see what all these teams are going to be bringing out on towards the battlefield. So be sure to join us next week on Monday as we are getting into our next region to see who will be stepping through in towards those continental finals. So be sure to join us back then. Hit the subscribe buttons down below if you have not done so already. And we look forward to seeing you all back again next week when we continue with the beautiful action that is PUBG mobile action right here on the International African Gaming Cup, brought to you in partnership with the Republic of Benin, and of course, Nice Cactus. So with that being said, I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic time. If you're in the southern hemisphere, good luck with winter. It's quite cold for us here, so I hope you guys are having a little bit of a better run further up north.
Yeah.
But until then, guys, stay safe, and we'll see you all back again next week.
Enjoy. Peace out. Stay warm.